now go live.
Real quick.
Say that again.
You could like hit multi-guess and shrink yourself.
All right, let me shrink myself again. All right, boom. There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Hello.
What's up, Aboriginal son?
African Americans are from Africa.
What's up? How'd you come to that conclusion?
A 2014 paper published by the American. Well, let me just look at it real quick.
Okay. Oh, it actually comes with a source. Wow.
The American Journal of Human Genetics showed that on average, African Americans have 73% ancestry relating to Africa. So that is pretty good evidence that African Americans are African.
Did they test everybody? All 40 million of us?
No.
So how they come up with the number for a whole? What's the percentage? How many did they test?
We've probably tested millions.
Millions?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. There's tens of thousands of different types of genetic studies that you could do in the field of genetics alone.
Are they using
I could probably spend all day showing you African American genetics.
Okay, okay, cool. When did yeah, you go ahead. That's fine.
Are they comparing? What are they comparing us to?
There's nothing to be compared. We take the synthesis of DNA. We take the sequencing in DNA, and we come to the conclusion: yes, this is related to Africans. So I guess technically you're comparing it to Africans.
You know,
okay,
you know
so
how much? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say that.
All right, if you had a point to make, go ahead.
Go ahead.
So DNA has
Ron.
Hold on.
I was about to say, okay, so why is only 2% of African DNA found in the Human Genome Project?
I don't even know what you just said.
There's only 2% of African DNA found in the Human Genome Project that studies genetics.
Yeah.
There's only 2%.
Did they test every single person?
No.
Oh, okay. Then your source isn't.
There's no African scientists are complaining that there's no African DNA in the Human Genome Project.
Sorry, you're saying
they're not going to get African DNA and test it.
Okay, could you show me a source by any geneticist?
Yes, I'm about to show you because it was actually just sent to me.
I gave you one and you didn't seem to address it.
Hold on, one second. Just hold on, because I like sourcing up ain't nothing over here. Because I can tell you about it, I can show you.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like you didn't address like anything I said about my paper. You just kind of like moved on to this one.
Yeah, because they don't have two. I actually addressed it with another source saying that only 2% of African DNA is in there.
In what? What is it in?
Hold on, sir.
In the Human Genome Project, where they study genetics.
He had answered, and then you asked him what is his source, so he's about to pull it up.
Right.
Yeah, while he's pulling that up, I have a question for you. Scientists said Black people feel less pain, so I'm just wondering why you're asking for a source when we can find sources.
Science doesn't say that. That's extremely outdated.
We can find sources from scientists on both points of view, just like we could find scientists saying that Black people feel less pain. So I'm just wondering.
Well, you're wrong because that idea is extremely outdated. Why is that wrong?
Scientists said it was right.
It is outdated, like centuries
outdated. What do you mean that's outdated? There's
So
still medical books that teach that.
I don't know why you
There's still medical books that teach that.
What's up? Yeah. I got the source right here. Scientists warn African DNA is missing from the world genome map. African science. Hold on one second.
RFI? What is RFI?
Yeah.
Hold on, let him finish.
Africans. Like, what are we talking about?
Finish reading it.
Like, why do y'all get so excited? African scientists say the world is missing vital medical insights by ignoring the continent's vast genetic diversity. Less than 2% of the human genome sequencing worldwide comes from African populations.
Can I explain?
Go ahead.
If you're done or whatever.
No, you can go ahead. because I don't feel like reading anyway.
So if you go back up,
Go ahead.
to the top, if you go back up, you see how it says go over to the right a little bit. Scientists warn African DNA is missing from the global genome map. Now, the reason why it's missing is because there's a few things that people can look into. I'm gonna give you three. One of them is there were Pan-Africanism, right? Is responsible for placing ancient Kemet and ancient Egyptian, ancient historical findings and stuff like that into an African context. An African context is literature and basically a context that was created in the 1900s. So it's not that old. So the second thing is when they use what they call it, the African diaspora. So the African diaspora that was created by the Pan-Africanism, they use regions in the Americas, none in Africa. The second thing is they don't use anything ancient, like as far as like ancient Kemet and bones and stuff that are found here. So what basically I'm saying is when you understand that the Asian and African countries that were made up around 1945 to 1960, even modern day terms, they are literally imports, they're companies in so many words. So they're responsible for saying that the stuff that they dig up here is being dug up on a whole nother continent. When all of these names and stuff that they came up with were created here. So it's multiple ways to look into it. Especially when it comes to DNA, they don't use any ancient Egyptian, nothing, bones, nothing.
No.
They try to say that the giants and stuff that they find here is Neanderthal and stuff like that, which is a lie because it doesn't have protruding eyebrows and other certain things. It's kept secret for a reason. But go ahead, David or whoever.
No,
I was about to say, one second. I was about to say, you showing up tonight, huh? All right, but go ahead. Y'all can go ahead.
Okay,
Well,
it's
anyway,
my turn. Is it my turn or is it his turn?
Leah Pans, I know you're.
I want to provide a rebuttal.
I know you're full of shit.
Go ahead, rebuttal. Go ahead, rebuttal.
Go ahead.
Okay, I got you.
So
I looked up RFI. It is not a credible science literature publisher or anything. It is a radio station. So you're using sources from radio stations. I'm using sources from peer-reviewed science in universities. If you look up the quote in the article, here, I'll show you. If you look up the quote in the article, this entire article is completely misleading. The reason why there is not the African genome is not visible is because there is a lack of representation. Since a lot of African nations are underdeveloped, there is not a lot of databases that exists in Africa.
Yeah,
if you
that's
look
the point.
up,
That's the point. No,
You
totally missed the point. That was the point. They're not collecting African DNA. So who are they testing?
Why is that? They're not collecting it because they're very underdeveloped in science.
And it doesn't change the point that is less than 2% of their DNA in the Genome Project. That's the fact.
You're misrepresenting. Okay, first of all,
it's not misrepresenting. No, hold on, sir.
Wrong. This title is wrong.
No, you just explained why they're not showing up, right? Because they're not being tested. That's the point of the article.
But that's not what this says.
How do y'all misconstrue an article?
That's not what this says,
when it tells you verbatim. It tells you verbatim.
It doesn't, though. This is clickbait.
No, it's not.
It very clearly is.
No, it's not.
Because you
gave a reason. So you told me why it's happening, and you gave a reason. That's why it's happening.
Okay. You read the title. What do you tell me? Tell me what you gained from this. Tell me what you learned from this.
They're not testing Africans.
Okay, so what does that mean?
They're not testing Africans. So
okay, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Their DNA is not showing. Their DNA is not in the Human Genome Project.
What does that mean in the terms?
They're not testing Africans
enough.
They're not testing them at all. Apparently, if it's less than 2%.
Enough. They're not testing
exactly.
Enough.
That's the point.
There's not enough.
So who are they comparing African Americans to?
There's not enough databases
to call them African. Yeah, exactly. So who are they comparing African Americans to say that they're from Africa?
What's available?
Yeah, what's available?
2% of Africa would be, let's see, how many people would that be? Population of Africa, that would be...
It's like 2 billion
population
people.
of Africa is 1.4 billion. 2% of 1.54 billion, that is... the hell?
And how many countries are in Africa?
30,800,000 people, which would be suffice enough to make genetic analysis.
And how many countries are in Africa?
56?
54.
56.
54.
Yeah, 54, 56.
So how are they pointing out the regions from everybody divided by 54 countries?
Genetic analysis are pretty really good and accurate. I'm not a geneticist. I wouldn't be able to tell you how they track it down exactly, but they're really good at it.
They're really good at it. Now, cool. So if I wanted to go back to find an ancestor from 1650 using a DNA test, how would I be able to go do that?
You wouldn't be able
they
to.
They would sequence the DNA from your saliva or whatever you provide to them, and they would trace it back.
To name somebody
based off of other data.
to give me a first and last name from 1650.
I don't know. Probably not.
Not yeah,
Darby,
exactly, because they don't. Hold on one second.
To
Tyrone, I'm speaking, dude.
So because
Tyrone,
you won't be able to be given a name, does that mean you're not from
Yeah, exactly. So
really?
These DNA tests only go back 5 to 7 generations.
Okay, so where are you from?
Maryland.
Okay, could you tell me where your family came from prior to 7 generations?
Prior to 7 generations, Maryland and Virginia.
How do you know?
Because I did my family tree.
I thought you said it was only up to 7 generations. How do you know what came up?
I didn't do the DNA. I traced my family via records. I just went to the Maryland State
So
Archives
we can't
today.
actually know because you said it doesn't go that far back.
The DNA test doesn't go back that far. Paperwork goes back even
Genealogy does, yeah.
So what are we talking about?
So you're telling me which has been corroborated with tons of evidence and like
Ancestry even
and it makes predictions. It makes predictions too.
No, it doesn't. Ancestry tells you in its fine print that you need to do genealogy. Yes, it tells you to do genealogy. Yes.
Genealogy overrules DNA samples. Little PA. Hold on, little PA. Who are you? What's your nationality?
My nationality? I'm American.
When did your ancestors first get to these United States?
They've always been here.
Since when?
Oh, the United States? They got here, I think, the 80s.
Where's your grandparents from? Oh, because so you're new and you're testing somebody with how many ever hundreds of years going back. So where are your grandparents from?
Colombia. Okay,
so here you are, an immigrant challenging someone who's native to this land, to the United States. You see how backwards that is?
So?
Yeah, so you're not even from here. So you're order.
So you're telling me because I am of a different nation,
you're challenging the natives. You're a whole immigrant, and for whatever reason you feel like white supremacy, you have the right to challenge somebody's here whose ancestors have fought in our wars, who built the landmass. Maryland is deep. Maryland is deep. So you don't even you can't even tell us who was the indigenous groups of Maryland without doing some proper research. So what state do you live in? What state do you live in, Carolyn?
I live in New York.
So can you tell me anything about the indigenous tribes of New York?
Nope.
Thank you.
Wow.
You want to sit here and question the host. You're out of line, you're inappropriate, but you're doing what your ancestors, the conquistadors, have always done.
It's
a human rights violation. This is what you're doing. You're a whole immigrant. You're a whole immigrant and you're questioning somebody with lineage from this land. That's documentation goes back further than yours.
Do you think
so? Tread lightly because they're getting ready to remove birthright citizenship.
Do you think I'm Caucasian?
No, we don't. I don't know what you are, but you're not from the United States.
You're white Hispanic. You're white Hispanic. You get to hide under the midst of white supremacy. So that's what you're using here. So you're here to question the natives.
You're not American, boy.
You're probably not even. Your paperwork ain't probably even been filed properly. You know, Spice is watching and listening.
British punk.
So you're a whole Colombiano, and we know how y'all get down over there. Y'all don't like us. Y'all never liked us.
How do we get down over here?
Not American.
You don't even know. Forget any of our nationality. You don't even know. You're in New York, and you know nothing about the indigenous tribes. You have shown no respect, land acknowledgement of the indigenous tribes of that area. But for some reason, you feel like you have the right and the privilege, and that's that false supremacy. That's all that is. You're out of line, and you're inappropriate.
You're not American, though.
The reason why I came up is because science has nothing to do with your gender. It has nothing to do with your sex. We are talking about genetics.
You're Colombiano.
Anybody, regardless of what nation they are, has the right to talk about science and to educate other people on science.
Y'all did that when y'all landed in Colombia too. Y'all did the same thing.
Oh, by the way, I am indigenous. I am indigenous to South America.
You ain't indigenous. You are hoping
Time out.
Doesn't stem.
She wants to make an announcement. Yeah, we gotta make a.
TikTok. This is for entertainment, educational purposes only. No hate speech, bullying, harassment, discrimination, racism, or anyone is allowed on this panel. Please just give people a chance to land their plane. Put fruits in the chat.
Thank you.
TikTok friendly words. Thank you.
I mean, if it's I don't understand if you don't promote
claiming to be indigenous to Colombia.
Why
we know what the
Spanish
did. We know what the Spanish have done in that area.
Go as far as
we know how the Spanish have harmed the indigenous people.
Why are you trying to speak?
The indigenous people of that area, like me, look like the host. Americana through and through. That don't matter if it's north, central, or south.
Mm-hmm. I'll be back. I'll be back.
You look like the colonials of Colombiano. That you look like a whole you a Spaniard.
I do not man, hominins right there. I want to get into the science.
Can I say something? Hold on. Let me
nationality is an ad hominem.
Can I say something? Hold on. Let me.
Nationality is an ad hominem.
Can I just provide my rebuttal? Lila, I'm so sorry that you have this way of thinking. I unfortunately do not have the same animosity to reciprocate it. My nationality, I'm not European. I'm indigenous to South America.
Spanish don't accept. Turn your camera. Turn your camera.
I am indigenous.
Let me see. Turn your camera.
No, I'm not going to prove anything to you because I really don't feel like I don't feel comfortable showing my face to people who have already ridiculed me.
Indigenous tribe
literally never. You don't know who I am. You don't know who I am.
What tribe are you
generalizations about me? Why should I show you what I look like?
I don't
know. I really don't.
Yeah, thank you. But you're sitting here questioning.
Yes,
you're trying to discredit the host.
Unfortunately,
you're trying to discredit the host. You're out of line.
Lila,
you're telling us to show back in order, turn your camera. We don't show proof to faceless people. Turn your camera.
Receipt. How come Lila and Venus are allowed to interrupt me, but I've been
turn your camera.
How come they get to interrupt me? I don't think that's pretty fair.
Okay, I just got back to the screen.
All right, thank you.
Guys, I'm gonna just show hold on.
Can I say something, or are you gonna say something?
Yeah, I'm gonna say something.
All right, go ahead.
Center you. We're not centering you. Move on.
Okay, so now reframing history. Okay, so you were speaking about science.
Mm-hmm.
Now me, when it comes to science, I love it. Science is a follower, but scientists, they have a ability to be biased, racist, discriminative. Don't you agree? Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
And I also agree that there was a lot of harmful principles in a lot of fields of science that were racist, sexist, and all these things.
Yeah.
But today, the scientific
there's no but to that.
Today, the scientific method is very refined and peer review is very refined.
So then why do black women die? Hold on, why are black women unalive at the highest rate?
Venus.
Why are black women unalive at the highest rate?
I don't understand why you're so hostile to me, like I'm the one who's causing all this stuff.
Sir.
Anyways,
can you just hold on for a minute?
Philosophy is rooted in what harms Black American women. So
what's my philosophy, Lila?
The philosophy, you're all that Western philosophy.
What is it?
All this, you won't even acknowledge that the people on this panel are natives. You say
are
you're
you guys
the
natives?
But you look nothing like us. You look nothing like the indigenous people in the murals and the petroglyphs of Bonaparte. You don't look like none of the people the indigenous artifacts from your area. You don't look like none of those people.
Turn on your
You don't look like none of those people.
You don't know what I look like.
I know exactly what you look like.
What do I look like? Describe you.
Exactly what you look like.
What's my hair
Spanish
color?
Colombiano.
What's my hair color?
Black.
Lips.
Okay. What's my eye color?
Thank you. All right. See, but I don't know what you look like.
What's my eye color?
Sir.
What's my eye color? What's up?
We don't have to do all of that. Okay?
Oh, we don't? So it's okay. It's totally okay for her to come at me based on where I'm from, but I can't.
You cannot overtalk me, bro. Like, I don't overtalk men. Like, Jesus. Now, reframing history. It is important for Pan-Africanism by placing ancient Egypt within an African context. Okay, TikTok, this is for no hate speech, bullying, no harassment. Oh, Lord, who was that? That's Samuel. What's up, Venus? Hey, look, I'm gonna follow you. Lila?
My fault. I just had my meds and I was falling asleep.
It's okay. I just
please, thank you to the sister, because I was able to read him in less than 2 minutes. I already knew he wasn't from here. I already knew he didn't get here to what maybe after the civil rights movement. He's here to benefit off our ancestral plight. There's no reciprocity. Why are you sitting in our group? Because you're not accepted amongst the white tea, but you check that white tea Hispanic on your boxes, you definitely get that white tea privilege. So they sit here telling you about all the horrors that our people have gone through scientifically in the medical field. Henrietta Lacks, you don't even probably know anything about Henrietta Lacks, or nor do you care. And then the all this ideology that you spew from, we've been there. You don't even know where you are. So you're new here.
But you know what? So
yeah, Lila, unfortunately, you don't speak for me. You don't know anything about me.
But you're old and you tired, and your talking points are old and tired. It's played out. We've been there, done it. We already came that. When your people was trying to get here, we've already was going through that. And I think they said it.
I love it though, but you know, you can keep having those opinions.
You a whole newbie. You a whole new American. You a whole new American. You here to benefit off of what our ancestors put in. You ain't fought in no wars for this nation. What wars have your people fought? What wars have you fought? United States have your people fought in?
How many wars have you fought? Tell me, Lila.
I'm here before the United States was created.
Zero.
My people were here. We already.
No. How many wars have you fought?
It's your turn to put in some work. It's your turn to go work these farms.
Hold on,
yeah. How many?
She's talking about our ancestors.
Mike is watching.
Mike is listening. Hold on, y'all. Let me put out a disclaimer. Can y'all put some fruits in the chat? So look, let's talk about this ancestry.
She's talking about our ancestral lineage through slavery of building this country up. He doesn't know anything.
You said what?
He doesn't know what she's trying to say, but I know
what she's trying to say. What did she just say though? What'd she say?
I mean, she's talking about many things. Our like basically our ancestors, are with slavery built the economy up, and
slavery,
lineage that we have here as Black people.
We didn't have slavery. We had indentured servitude, and we.
That's what I'm saying.
Are you saying that the U.S. didn't have slavery?
I'm talking, sir. Hold on, look. How do you say your name?
I'm just trying to explain to him, but you don't have to.
No, you good. I'm just talking about him.
American Revolutionary War. Our ancestors absolutely fought in those wars. The Civil War, French Indian Wars, you name it. World War I, World War II, Vietnam. Our people was in those wars. What has he put in? Our ancestors lived off their benefits from fighting in the military or whatever contributions they made. So
she's saying that, and she's also herself never fought a war.
United States? Colombiano, what have you contributed to these United States? For you to come in here with this arrogance and this smug attitude, trying to put us in our place for us. You speak for you and your migrant parentage.
I would like for you to tell me what I said that was smug and arrogant, because I haven't done any of that.
And you won't.
Yeah, you came in here denying our Black women experience and then wonder why they in here.
When did I say that? What did I say? What did I deny?
Let him finish.
Yeah, you don't
overtalk him. Let him explain to you what he means. Go ahead. 2800.
Yeah, right. You in here deny Black women experiences, and then you in here asking them why are y'all talking to me like that? Because you a clown. You not understanding. It's like cognitive dissonance. You doing something basically on purpose, but then you want to ask them why they doing this to you.
All right, I'm back.
You playing victim.
Okay. All right. So I wanted to. Oops, my bad. I wanted to go over this little ancestry shit. You want to read that, Darwin?
Let Dayback read it. Let me stop. Yeah, I got you. The percentage of African ancestry is relatively low. Hold on, is it true that everyone has African ancestry? The percentage of African ancestry is relatively low, with the majority of individuals just having 0.5 to 0.75%, which suggests that those people have an African ancestor who lived about 6 generations or 200 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Whatever your name, the dude. Hold on.
Only African. Sorry. Go ahead, Goddess.
No, my apologies. I'm not gonna be too long. I just wanted to just show the shit, and then to.
What's up? We Big Back in here. Return of the back. There it is. Looking at boy. I swear to God, you back.
Why'd you mute me?
I ain't mute you. Once
yeah,
again, he's back.
question.
Return of the back. We got Back Morrison in here.
That's not a question.
We got
right here. What's up, Big Bear?
Right.
Hold on, Big Bear.
So,
all right, I'll let you guys go first, though.
Hold on, sir.
One second, Big Back.
Who's going first?
I am.
Big Back. Yeah, Receipt Goddess.
All right. So what does this say right here?
A broad group of indigenous populations from North, Central, and South America. You want me to read the whole thing or the highlighted thing?
You can read the whole paragraph. That's cool.
American Indian ancestry DNA testing compares your genetic markers to those of a broad group of indigenous populations from North, Central, and South America. Yeah.
What else?
Often categorized as indigenous Americans or Native American. Yeah. Seems about right. So
okay,
what?
So you see how? Or what? Native American. What else does it say?
Or indigenous Americas? Yeah.
Can you finish reading?
That's big Asia right there.
Oh, highlighting shared ancestry from ancient migration from. Yeah, I understand that. 20,000 to 30,000 years ago, we traveled through the Bering Strait and we ended up here in America. Also, since like I said, there are dozens upon dozens of African genome studies you can look up.
I'm not done. Hold your horses. Well, I was talking. I just wanted you to read that, right? Just hold on. Jesus.
That boy Spaniard.
Let's get up to 5,000.
Well, at least you don't deny the migration.
Or who instituted all that slavery in these United States, starting with Spanish Florida. That's what that's all Queen Isabella. That's your people. That's what you come from.
I don't come from them.
Your ancestors, but I'm telling you who you are. You don't know what.
Yeah, but I don't come from them.
You claim to be indigenous, but you can't name a tribe you're from. Okay.
Yeah, because unfortunately,
since you don't know who you are, I'm gonna tell you who you are.
Yeah, you can't do that. That's a little.
You either European or you South American.
That seems a little disrespectful. Don't you think?
One second.
You should mute her. I don't think that's really fair. But you want me to read that? Yes, African ancestry DNA tests can be accurate for Americans, particularly for those with African heritage, as they compare DNA samples to a large database of indigenous African DNA, helping pinpoint ancestral origins and ethnic groups.
Now, peep game.
Huh?
I'm not just talking about you, right? Y'all can screenshot this. Just understand what it's really saying.
What is it really saying?
You see how? Hold on. God damn. Wait a minute. Can I break it down?
Ooh, that's heat right there.
Shit. Now, African ancestry DNA test, right, can be what? Accurate for Americans, particularly for those with what? African heritage. Peep game.
Yeah.
So what is heritage?
It could be a whole bunch of things. It could include culture.
That's what heritage is.
Yeah.
Right. and heritage could be written shit too, right?
Say that again.
As they
read, nigga, read.
Just mute up, dude. I'm talking to everybody else too. Now, you see how they say as compared to DNA samples to a large database of indigenous African DNA. Now, peep game. Look at the words and shit that they use, because I'm going to show y'all some shit on why the.
Oh,
by the way, that was an AI generated response. Just saying.
read. You know, AI has latent sources.
Come on, stop playing. Like you sitting here trying to tell us who we are, but we can't tell you who you are. You're a whole conquistador. You come from Spain. That's your ancestry.
I don't.
So which indigenous tribe are you from?
I don't know.
So you don't know. I'm gonna tell you who you are.
Ooh.
I mean, I just think that's a
You
little.
don't know who you are. I'm telling you who you are.
You got some.
You in New York, but you don't even know about the indigenous tribes there, just to show respect for the indigenous Native Americans there. You don't even know anything about New York. When was New York chartered?
I don't know.
So you don't even know enough, but you try to tell us who we are.
How long you been in New York?
I don't know much about
because you feel
history.
your whitey supremacy that you have some white to tell us who we are. That's a whole Columbus move. You a whole
Lila, I don't know much about
you a whole Columbus over
like
here.
old
But you're a whole
world
Columbus.
history.
You don't know enough, bro. Stand down.
Lila,
the Constitution
Stand
is. What
down,
the Constitution
Columbus.
about? What the death
You're a whole
Colombiano about?
All right, too many mics going off, y'all. Too many mics. One mic. One
Lila,
mic.
did you know that you can do genetic
What's up,
research
Sahara?
and be an expert in genetics?
No, disengage.
Why is it that you get to interrupt me? Why aren't the mods moderating you? Because she just gets to interrupt me. That doesn't seem fair.
You just got here. You think you can tell us who we are?
Yeah, where I come from has nothing to do with being able to evaluate genetics.
Your people hurt indigenous people, and now you're taking on their identity.
No, you don't know who I am. Like, you know nothing about
you a whole culture vulture.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all.
You're a culture vulture.
One second, y'all. Receipt got trying to talk, y'all. Thank you.
Shit.
Okay, so yeah, the original Christopher Columbus and all of that, they were melanated.
You think Christopher Columbus was melanated?
But I'm talking. Why do you keep jumping? What the fuck you mean?
This is why we let Lala jump on your ass, because you know how to shut up. Go ahead.
Let me tell you something. I'm not going to talk about what I think, what I feel, and what I believe at all. Facts over feelings. I said what I said. Okay? Now, what does it say right here? Can you see what the top say? Or is it cut off?
African ancestry can be traced to various regions of the United States, with notable concentration in South, particularly in states like Louisiana and South Carolina, where some self-identified white individuals have detectable African ancestry. Here's more detailed breakdown. Southeastern United States, Louisiana, South Carolina. Studies have shown that significant percentage of self-identified YT individuals in these states possess detectable ancestry, with some of having as much as 2% or more. Other southern states in the South, such as Georgia, North Carolina, and Mississippi, also show a higher prevalence of African ancestry, among self-identified YT people. Yeah, it cuts off after that.
So you guys just proved
chill.
Big back, relax, big back. We'll get to your bison meeting ass in a second.
You just proved that you guys were slaves.
So I'm talking, dude. Just be quiet. Damn. In South Carolina and Louisiana. Go ahead. You want to read that?
Yeah, South Carolina and Louisiana, the states shaded the darkest green on the map above. Researchers found that, and 20 people who called themselves YT had at least 2% African ancestry, and a lot of in the South, about 10% of the people who identified as YT turned out to have African DNA. The YT.
So, let me show y'all something. Now, okay. Now, what are we looking at right here?
Yeah, tap the screen, y'all.
This is the 2020 census, right?
Yep.
Oh, go ahead. You can read it, bro.
2020 census, percentage of Black or African American alone or in combination ranks in the state or territory. 76% are in the Virgin Islands. 44%, District of Columbia, where I'll be at soon. 38% Mississippi, and 33% Louisiana.
Right. Now, this is the census, right? And what this is basically breaking down to you is this. You want to read that, sir?
Yeah. While some African ancestry DNA tests may offer insight into sub-Saharan African origins, they generally do not focus on or directly incorporate ancient Egyptian DNA for analysis. Here's a more detailed example. Focus of ancestry tests. These tests primarily analyze DNA markers to trace ancestry to specific regions and populations, often focusing on the sub-Saharan region and not ancient Egypt. Ancient Egyptian DNA research into ancient Egyptian DNA has revealed that ancient Egyptians had closer genetic affinities with populations in the Near East, Levant, and Anatolia with modern sub-Saharan Africans. Then with modern, yeah.
Right. So
more DNA and DNA.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead.
While Ancestry DNA analyzes your DNA to provide insights into your ancestry, it does not directly compare your DNA to ancient Egyptian DNA. Instead, it compares your DNA to a reference panel of people from various regions, which helps determine the probability of your ancestry. Here's a more detailed. Ancestry DNA works. Ancestry DNA analyzes your DNA to identify genetic markers and compare them to a database of DNA from people from different regions, allow them to estimate your ancestral origins. No direct ancient Egyptian DNA. All right. The ancestry DNA does not serve directly compared to your DNA to DNA extracted from ancient Egyptians.
Right. So with that being said, right? One more little thing, and I'm gonna break it down. You got this, bro?
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna address the comment. Were I proven wrong? How were you proven wrong in your public on your video post? No, they all said they had Indian ancestry. So how was I proven wrong? You take a question. Like over 90% of the people I've interviewed, because I had multiple videos of that, they mostly said they were Indians. Yeah, so I don't know what y'all talking about.
Okay, so go ahead.
All right, cool. I do. Yeah, all right. Damn, somebody moving around. Get out the bed. While some ancestry DNA sequencing companies do analyze ancient DNA, including those from ancient Egypt, to understand broader populations, it's not the primary focus of most consumers' level ancestry tests, which primarily analyze modern DNA samples. Here's a more detailed explanation. Ancient DNA research. Scientists have successfully sequenced genomes from ancient Egyptian mummies, revealing insights in their genetic history and relationship with other populations. Consumer ancestry tests. Most consumer-level ancestry tests, like those offered by companies such as Ancestry DNA, 23andMe, and MyHeritage, analyze your modern DNA to trace your ancestry.
Modern, right? So let me tell you about this. What countries have African ancestry? Peep game. It says African diaspora. So what I'm going to show you is what African diaspora is. Regions. What'd that say, bro? Darvin?
African diaspora regions with significant populations. Brazil, 20 million. United States, 41 million. Haiti, 10 million. And France, 5 million.
Not they say we mix. Not they say we mix.
Oh, yeah, mix. Oh, yeah, Brazil and the United States are mixed.
So look, so what the mix means, I'm going to show you right here. Here you go, right here. This is just a little letting you know about the African diaspora. African diaspora was created in 1940 something, 1950 something. So here's these regions that they're talking about.
Wikipedia, very scientific source.
Sorry, sir. I got more than that, so chill.
I'm sure you do. Can
Yeah.
I provide a rebuttal, or is you
Why are you
just go ahead and mute the
commenting?
fuck up? How
You
about
just
that?
got here.
Yeah,
You're
mute. I was about to say.
migrant.
I was about to say Wikipedia has a reference panel. For those
This
that
is
don't
a
know.
general discussion. You can't even
provided a
take
rebuttal.
any deep
I told
research.
you
Go
to
learn
mute the
about the
fuck up
tribes of
until
New
I was
York.
done.
Yeah, mute up.
Yeah. Okay. You can see that, bro. What does it say? African diaspora, flag of Pan-Africanism, right? Let's look at these countries or regions, shall we? Brazil, United States. What's that one at the bottom? Can y'all see it?
Haiti, United States, and 5 million of mixed.
I'm gonna tell you about the mixed shit. So I'm gonna go one by one. Show me where y'all see Africa. Y'all see Saudi? Y'all see this shit, right?
You got Yemen, Colombia, Dominican Republic, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Mexico, Jamaica, United Kingdom, Iraq, Panama, Spain.
Oops. This one. And by the way, those places that the brothers had named, Yemen, where's Yemen at? Ain't that in, where's that?
That's in the Middle East.
Haiti not up there.
Oh, it's gonna be. I got you, goddess. What'd you say, Darvid?
Middle East towards Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
Where Ethiopians come from. Tra-la-la-la.
So I think Haitian was the first one on the other page.
Okay.
Okay, so on here, we're Saudi Arabia. Y'all know that that's the four corners over here, right? New Mexico, Arizona, all that shit over there where the four corners is at. Okay, so I just pulled that back up just so y'all can see. This one was the one I just pulled up.
It said Spain. It said Spain is 79% North African. That's part. That's
because
the
Nevada is still named Spain today.
The Moors.
No, it's still named Spain. Because I'll show you that later, goddess. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, yes, you are absolutely correct. Because these places were here. Cuba, all of these places. Some more.
Louisiana Purchase, and that's why the United States.
Crazy, not one African country is on there. What the heck? I ain't seen nothing about no Nigeria. What?
Can y'all see that? Or
those countries have African. It's
so
not the other way around.
Up there? Why Senegal not up there? Like, where's the
No,
African
there's
countries?
Nigeria in those. That's
Nigeria
what
on
it's
that
saying.
screenshot. I didn't see Nigeria
Are
on
you
that
not
screenshot.
slow?
Where's
Are
Nigeria?
you not
The rest
slow?
of it, Big Bear.
Big Bag. I know.
Bear, you was not on the big screen.
Big Bag. I know you're
Big
not
Bear,
talking.
we is not going off of what you believe, you feel, or what you think. Okay.
Well, there's Africans.
So can you mute up until I'm done? Thank you so much.
Big Bag. Don't you got some mice in the hunt?
Okay. Wait till I'm
mice in the hunt.
You're gonna get dropped if you keep
showing the numbers of how many Africans are in that country.
Dropped if you keep
showing the numbers of how many Africans are in that country. Stupid.
I don't want to drop you.
Big Bag. Big Bag.
Slow.
Big Bag. Big Bag. He's gonna eat a Big Mac.
You don't want to sound slow. All right, so y'all don't see no African ones on here, do y'all?
Nope.
But they didn't include. They don't care about African immigrants. That's
just want to
crazy.
say this real quick. You know what I do for a living in my job. Don't people know that Nigerians hate when you say that they're from Africa? You notice that they never say they're from Africa. They always say they're from Nigeria. They hate that. So, and I asked him what's the difference. He said it's a difference.
Hold on. Got us what we
And you know why? And you know why, bro?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Because of a lady named Flora Shaw.
What's up, sis?
Where she got married at, right? She wanted to name the area after the Niger River. The Niger River, look it up. It's in Saskatchewan, Canada. Yeah, it's the Niger River. So, yep. So as you can see, no African countries, right? They talk about the languages, religions, related ethnic groups.
Thank y'all for the follow.
What is that?
Receipt goddess. What receipt goddess?
Yes, baby.
What was the first? Which was the first African nation to enter the transatlantic slave trade? What was the first nation? What was the first country? because they talk about the earliest part of what we call today Ghana. Let's say about 1830s Ghana. By that time, my ancestors are already documented as being on the Trail of Tears, being forced west.
Right.
So,
That's
and even
1830s, stupid
still,
ass.
that
She's
Ghanaian,
not talking to you.
1830s.
stand down,
Man, you don't get dropped,
Mexicano,
dude.
Chicano. So the Ghanaian when slave trade was going into Brazil, the Portuguese and the slave trade into Brazil. And I continue to ask them which U.S. ports, because they try to reduce this history, as if this was some Spirit Airlines getting people there in a few hours. We're talking about because because in these United States there was no railroads, there were no interstates, no highways, no air travel.
We had that because we were advanced using solar energy, but the place that they're talking about, Goddess,
why don't you come up here, Diamond?
After this is look up Africa, Ohio, and the enslavement of indigenous people in the 1400s.
And so I'm going to ask for anybody that by the time Ghana entered the transatlantic slave trade, and traded with Portuguese into Brazil, my people were already in the areas you today call Arkansas, being forced west into Indian territory, American Indian territory.
Yep, you are absolutely correct.
And then 30 years later, we got the Emancipation Proclamation. Because 1898 to 1914, we got the Indian Dolls rolled. Okay, 1920, we got 1921 Tulsa.
Diamond, and ask us.
Okay, 40 years later, we got the Civil Rights Act. A few years later, you got this current generation.
Sounds like I don't know shit.
So show me again where these ports. You got to show me some port to port, because all of this was well documented. I'm talking about for those that are claiming whatever the West African myths. You got to show me some port to port, because
I got you.
And I'll even say this: Georgia with the Habershams, they didn't even create a route into Savannah to London until about the 1770s. So you got to come a little bit deeper when y'all talking about these voyages. So you can even go to slavevoyages.org and you won't see a single port into these United States. So the fact is, a lot of these people don't know enough about U.S. American history to make some of the claims that they're making. And I'm going to always ask for proof, because all of this has been well documented. You talking about chattel slaves. We're talking about accounting. We're talking about what people that were listed as property, people that if they were to escape, they would have bounties. So all of this is well documented and accounted for. So provide some receipts. Stand down, boy. Provide some receipts, boy. Provide some receipts, or stand down, because we know you undocumented. We already know, but we know you undocumented.
Get out here, big bag.
Yeah, we know you undocumented.
See, you speaking facts, because actually,
big bag sneak on the stage.
Deep. It's really deep. Receipt Goddess, it's really deep. It's all about the Vatican they put us in a global trust. So when you were born into what they want to call it. Well, really it is called slavery, because they owned you, and what it did was it had ownership of you, your body, land, and your estate. So that's what they did. So pretty much they claim your inheritance. So this was all about. That's why it's very important to know who you are. And a lot of people like, oh, name doesn't matter, color and race doesn't matter. If it didn't matter, then why they did all they needed to do? It didn't matter.
You in the
It
Matrix.
does matter. Everything matters.
Okay, I got you. You want to read this real quick? After him.
You claim your genealogy and your heritage. You're gonna recycle this motherfucker over.
All right, cool. Let me see. African diaspora population include African Americans, Afro Caribbeans, Afro Latin Americans, Black Canadians, descendants of mostly enslaved West and Central Africans brought to the United States, the Caribbean, Central America, and South America during the Atlantic slave trade.
So, peep game to this shit, because I'm hearing what the goddess is saying, and she ain't did nothing but cook. Okay, so let me show y'all something into this diaspora.
Oh,
My bad. Yeah, just
are you still fasting? Who's
who
fasting?
me? Me?
Somebody said something in the comments.
Oh, they're probably talking about me. No,
I'm fasting from musty motherfuckers. That's what I'm fasting from.
you know what? I
A
could
tussy
not.
fast. We doing a tussy fast. Oh, he's talking to you, see goddess. Or she. I don't know who that is. Either 93. I'm doing the tussy fast. That's all.
My bad. Okay,
See,
so you want to read that?
All right. Spain has had significant connection to Oregon in a number of ways, including claiming the territory. Spain was one of the first European empires to send ships to Oregon. It was the first to claim the territory. Spain's claim to the region date back to the Papal 1493 in the Treaty of Tordesillas. Whatever. I'm gonna butcher that. Whatever. In 1494, Spain ceded its claim to the United States in 1819 through the Transcontinental Treaty. Naming the treaty, the name Oregon has likely Spanish origins. The term Orient, yeah.
My bad. Y'all already know the
Orient,
rest of it.
yeah, exactly. So he cool.
Okay, so look.
All right. Yes, during the 1400s and 1500s, European explorers and traders did capture and transport indigenous people back to Europe, including from areas like Ontario, Canada. They were taken as captives, used to force labor or display exotic curiosities. Elaboration, capture and transportation. European explorers, often motivated by profit and expansion, would capture indigenous people and bring them back to Europe. Forced labor and enslavement. Indigenous people were forced to work as slaves in European homes or businesses, or they are enslaved in their labor in various sectors.
Now watch this. This is the ending part of it. Hold on, because I got more.
But wait, there's more. That's facts. Yeah.
Here's the little websites and stuff y'all can look into. But yes, Ontario.
Yeah, they can't name a single U.S. city. I'm asking for ports. And thank you, Receipt Goddess. No, I'm with you. I'm asking anybody dissenting against this information, provide me with some ports, because we're talking about the institution of these United States, very much well documented. I mean, we can go to the 13 original colonies. So y'all like to just put all these things when all these areas wasn't even established or European contact made. So again, no railroad systems, no interstate. Okay, so no highways, no concrete paved roads. No concrete, none of that. So if you're gonna make these claims, somebody said, okay, my timeline was off with Ghana. Again, by the time Ghana ended the translated slave trade, my people were already west of the Mississippi, Indian Territory. It wasn't even called Arkansas at the time. So my thing is this: name the port to ports. Give me some ports.
Yep, let me pull that up too. Okay.
So that's Ghana trading with the Portuguese into Brazil. You still can't give me a U.S. city. And then give me some ports around the 13 original colonies. So you say the 1400s. Somebody said the 1400s. Columbus didn't even go as far as the Bahamas. He never made it further than the Caribbean. Didn't even know all this other landmass existed. Never even made it to the mainland beyond the Caribbean. So you got to be a little bit more precise when you're dealing with scholars and academics, people that have documentation, people that have records, that have dates. And so let's not even get into the Magna Carta. Get into the Magna Carta, 13 original colonies, the institution of these United States in the 1776. That's what I'm talking about. English territory. We speaking English here.
Hey, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth in the comments.
I got a question.
Understand it. It's two United States as well, and it's two governments. They just want to institute that in there as well.
All right, who got a question?
I do.
Who are you?
Titus.
Titus, what's up, Titus? What you doing today, Titus?
Nada.
Nothing. Why are you slurring your words, Titus? Why are you slurring your words, Titus?
Why am I slurring my words?
Slurring.
Slurring?
Why are you slurring your words, Titus?
I don't know.
I don't know what you got to ask, Titus.
Why do you think you're Native American?
Why I'm not Native American. We went through this a million times.
All right then. What makes you guys think you guys were here?
What
Native
makes you think
means
I was
born.
Yeah.
right?
Native Americans were
Not
born.
native.
Absolutely native, born from this land. Native.
Yeah.
Now, Titus, where are you from again, Titus?
Lodgepole.
You're from where?
Lodgepole. It's a place
Cool.
in Montana.
You're from Montana. Montana. Can you name 10 tribes east of the Mississippi, Titus?
East of the Mississippi?
Yeah, name 10 tribes east of the Mississippi, Titus.
No, well, I named the tribes that I know.
No, east of the they gotta be east of the Mississippi.
Dakota.
No, Titus. They gotta be east of the Mississippi, Titus.
What does that mean?
They gotta be east of the Mississippi. They gotta be east of the
native tribes, but you're gonna tell us who we are.
What makes you guys think you guys are here?
Get out of here.
What makes you guys think you're
When did your ancestors get here, Titus? Boy,
no, he
when did
didn't
your
answer.
ancestors get
I
here?
said east of the Mississippi.
Why do you guys think your ancestors were here?
Hold on. Anybody east of the Mississippi River? Titus, name 10 tribes east of the Mississippi River.
Tell me why you guys think we're here then.
Because we're the people from the east of the Mississippi, Titus.
No, you ain't. You guys from Africa.
You can't. Hold on, one second, y'all. One second. I got it, y'all. I was about to say you can't even name 10. You can't even name 10 tribes east of the Mississippi.
You were never here. You can't even show me proof that you guys were here.
I already showed you proof millions. I've already showed y'all proof millions of times, dude. My tree is. Oh no, my tree is on my page. Look it up. I've shown it millions of times.
I just know black people weren't here. You guys were brought.
You were brought. Name when did black people first get to the United States, Titus?
Depends whenever they bought slaves.
What year? Give a year, Titus.
14, whatever. 14.
No,
15,
no. You can't. Why can't you give me a year, Titus?
1800s is when the
Why can't you give me a year? Why can't you give me a year, Titus? Titus. 1700. What year? Give me a year.
1700s.
17 what? 1725. 1742. 1705, 1742, 1715. Which one, Titus?
Slavery ended in 1865.
Okay, we all know that. Cool, supposedly.
Yep, so 1700 to 1865.
People were enslaved, Titus. When did your ancestors get here? Because we know you ain't native. When did your ancestors get here?
I'm Native American.
You ain't. Okay, there's Columbus claiming to be Native American. So which tribe?
No.
Which tribe are you?
Crow and Assiniboine.
Okay, so your ancestors great the indigenous
your boy
women,
Titus
and you
struggling up here,
the
Diamond.
tribe that your ancestors great.
Why your boy struggling up here? He don't even know history. He don't even know when black people got here, supposedly.
Around 14, 15.
14. Give me an exact year, Titus. I want an exact year. Give me an exact year.
Do you know the exact year?
Yeah, I know an exact year. I can give you a couple. 1526 and 1619.
Tell me, because I don't know.
1526 and 1619 Africans were brought here. How about that?
1500 jet.
Yeah, but why do I have to tell you that, Titus? I thought you knew. I thought, hold on, Titus. Hey, Titus. Why can't you? Why do I have to tell you that, Titus? I thought you knew.
Because
all right, yeah. Hold on, I got a couple. I got a couple questions for you, Titus. Hold on. One second. Because people. 1 second. Name 5 things. Name Titus. Titus. I'm trying to speak, dude. Why you keep talking while I'm talking? Stop trying to overtalk me. I told you I was going. I told people I was going to Tussy fast. Hold on. I told you I was going on a Tussy fast. Maybe I need to pull it out for Titus' musty ass. So with that being said, name 5 things Native Americans invented, Titus.
Fry bread. Do you guys know what fry bread is or no? But y'all don't.
Yeah, we know what fry bread. Name 5 things that all right, name 4 more things Native Americans invented.
Low
No, they didn't.
Fucking stew.
Mexicans.
Who just said low riders?
Teepees. There's 3 of them. We meant teepees.
That came from Siberia.
No, they're right from Mexico.
TPs are from Siberia.
Oh yeah.
You got proof?
We use them too.
Put it up. Put it up.
Where the TPs come from? Where
Nah,
did
we don't
TPs?
We don't want to reverse psychology. We want him to finish the questions and the answers. This is how they.
Hey, Mr. Google.
Yeah, I was about to say.
TPs come from. So where
Yeah.
TPs come from, Mr. Google?
Siberia.
Oh, good one.
Three tribes too. Who lives in a goddamn TP? Okay, you was migrating. So anyway,
Our native
Titus,
people
shut up,
did that for
Titus. That is
years.
so violent. That
I
is
know
so
history.
violent that your ancestors
We ain't gonna let them. Hold on, hold on.
Your
One second.
what your ancestors did to the indigenous.
You didn't even say
Yeah.
5. Hold on. You ain't gonna sliver out there. You ain't say 5 things. Go ahead, Titus. Name 5 things your people invented.
I just said.
Your ship.
Why is that? Why do I want that?
Name your tribe. Give us some history about your tribe. You said you crow. You said you crow.
Name 5 things. Name 5. Hold on. Name 5 things that Native Americans invented. Hold on, Titus. Name 5 things that Native Americans invented.
Slavery. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, name 5 things.
No, we did. No, we.
What Native Americans did?
Yeah. Name 5 things that Native Americans invented.
Lowriders.
Okay, cool. Now what? Name another thing. Fried bread. That's 2. That's 2 things. Hold on 1 second. Why can't y'all answer the question, dude?
Can I speak?
No, answer the question. Name 5.
Yes, I did. I proved you wrong.
You didn't prove shit. You didn't prove me wrong because you can't even name.
You said you were here. You were.
No, I did.
You say
I was here.
Black people came here.
Yeah, man, get off, Titus. Like you don't know history. Obviously, I had to tell you when Africans supposedly came over here. You don't know history. You can't name 5 things Native Americans invented.
Can I name them?
Go ahead. Name 5 things. Yeah, go ahead.
1, lowriders. 2, temples.
Temples.
Yeah, the Mexican temples in Mexico. Those are.
We're not talking about Mexico.
Mexicans are Native Americans, sir.
We're not talking about Mexico.
No more.
They're Indian.
Nobody said don't want to go to Mexico no more.
Literally means mixed. That's your Spanish side. Mestiza means mixed.
Over here.
That is mixed.
We finally got Diamond weak ass, a musty ass up here too.
I don't speak Spanish, so why you say I'm Spanish? Can you answer me that?
What tribe are you?
My mom's from the Aztec Indians.
Your mom from the Aztec. Where your dad from?
That's a Spaniard.
Oh, buddy. So you a half and half. You're an Arnold Palmer, huh?
Mestiza. The Spaniards raped the women.
I mean, most of you
the
guys
Spaniards,
who are you guys? You guys mostly have 4C type hair that originated.
And ain't nobody claiming to be Aztec.
I don't have 4C hair. Hold on 1 second. I don't have 4C hair. I don't. Why do y'all think we all have 4C hair?
A little dome there. You do.
It's not 4C.
We don't have African hair either.
Not about facts.
From Africa, sir.
Ain't nobody
Africans
saying.
ain't got hair. They got
maggot
Yo, can y'all stop? I'm trying to get control of the stage. Hold on. Ain't nobody upset. Just shut the fuck up. Dude. Why do y'all insist on 1 second? Dude, you're about to get dropped. Why do y'all insist, right? Why do y'all insist on trying to overtalk people? Would y'all do this shit in real life? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't be cutting people off like this in real life. So stop acting like y'all like that when y'all are not. Stop acting like y'all like that. Go ahead, Quetzalcoatl.
May I answer the question if you don't mind, kind sir?
If you be respectful and not shut and know how to listen when people are talking, yes. Y'all supposed to be grown. Yeah, y'all supposed to be grown. Y'all supposed to be grown adults, right? Act like it. Y'all supposed to be intellectual, then act like it. If people are wrong and you know that they're wrong, let them speak. That's called intellectual honesty. If you actually have a point and can get your point across without cutting people off. I ain't drop you, David. Go ahead, Quetzalcoatl.
I concur. I mean, sincerely. I don't really have any any knowledge in which what they did, but I know what the indigenous people did.
Okay, cool. Well, shit. We talking about the Native Americans. What they invent? Five things they invented.
Yo, brother, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm on the side of the indigenous, and I know what they did because I come from the lands in which it's called Borinquen, and the indigenous people that I know have invented certain things that's significant. In regards to the natives, I only know that they created the Know Nothing Party and the Native American Party.
And that was true. And who were those people? They were YT, weren't they?
They were indeed of European and Asian descent.
Exactly. No, nothing. The first Native Americans were YT people. Ain't nobody get called Native American till the 1960s.
Well, they got really called in 1924.
Yeah, host is mad. Y'all ain't nobody mad. Nobody want to hear grown adults act like children. That's all. What you doing, Garrett? What are you doing, Garrett?
I'm sorry.
What you doing up here?
I'm just wondering, why are y'all having such a
Where are you from? Where are you from, Garrett?
I'm from the South.
Where's the South? What part? I don't know where the South is. South United States, South America, South Europe, South Australia. Where are you from?
Cambodia.
Tennessee.
You're from Tennessee. Where your parents from?
Tennessee.
Where your grandparents from?
Tennessee.
Where your great grandparents from?
Tennessee.
Where your great grandparents from?
Tennessee.
Where your third time's great grandparents from?
Probably from I know my great grandpa's from Austria.
Austria. What year did he get here?
I have no idea. It's in the family book.
It's in the family. You don't even know when your folks got here?
When my great grandpa got here on like one specific side of my family. Why do I have to know that?
Because that's your great grandfather. That's your family. Why wouldn't you want to know about that, Gary?
I mean, got it documented. I can go get the book.
You can go get the book. Well, so why did you know that off rip, huh?
Because I don't think about it all the time.
Yeah, because you're the Ellis Islander.
So the Cherokee were forced off of the land, Tennessee, that area. So your ancestors were the one that were forcing the natives to go west from Tennessee.
I can't.
And then let's be honest. I mean, it wasn't always called Tennessee. It was Indian territory before that. So your ancestors are the one that settled the land after the American Indians were forced west.
View pictures of Africans.
Oh yeah. Ooh. Uh-oh. Now we're pulling out the Africans. Uh-oh. Oh, DYT. That's how.
I got one more thing to say real quick before you say it. So I wonder why do Africans and Nigerians say Americans? If we supposed to be from Africa, why they say you Americans? Why they call it? They're just okay. Let me just shut up.
Yeah. No, we're not African. All around the world, Black Americans are identified as Americans. They don't put no African on it.
Ishla, Wingapo, Halito, Choma Cheshime, Choma Wingapo, hey, because hey is literally Lenape for hello. Oseo, all these goddamn indigenous hellos. Hello. What's going on, y'all?
Hello.
Yeah,
What happened to that guy that was on here earlier when I was on?
What? Who?
Because I was about to play a clip debunking his goofy ass with the Pro Santa Chakrabarty. What can DNA tests really tell us about our ancestry?
Oh, you don't know what happened to him?
Uh-huh.
He actually got his back against the wall, sliding down and crying.
Because he literally doesn't know how to interpret DNA because DNA can't really tell you an ethnicity or race. It's going by a migration pattern. And a lot of these racial groups have genetics that overlap with each other. So there's no telling what you are definitively. And with indigenous American or either African, whatever you want to claim, they ain't got enough genetic material to tell you anything about ethnic ancestor, like say that they try and deny Black Americans Indianness, right?
Who the hell eating
Most
chips right
United
now?
States Indians,
Man, if
they
you
don't
don't
even
put the
have.
Doritos down. I said somebody will put the Doritos down while Tyrone talking.
Oh, they don't really have any American Indian genetics dealing and pertaining to people within the United States because the transatlantic slave trade utilized United States American Indians. They barely brought in West Africans to the United States. Most of the so-called West Africans went to the Caribbean and South America.
Hold on. Can I fix this up for you? Okay, first, transatlantic wasn't even a word till 1779, right? By a guy named John Wilkes. Okay. Did you know that the first book that was published talking about transatlantic or Atlantic slave trade was in 1997?
I didn't know that. But anyway.
So basically, there's no African nothing because until you understand the first place that was labeled as Africa, right, is Africa, right? They were labeled by the Romans. They were talking about Tunis. The city, the country of Tunisia. Hold on, sir. The country, Tunisia, was named after the city of Tunis. Tunis is here, which is Ontario and New Mexico. Okay. Now, they say that it was labeled to be what? The mother of mankind and Alcubuline, right? Alcubuline was created here. It was created here, though. Okay. When they were talking about Alcubuline, they were talking about Ohio, and then later on, Missouri. Okay. So we can get into that dialogue, but there's no boat, cruise, or ship that's going to take anybody from here to Africa or from Africa to here. And if there is one, which there's no possible way you have to fly, right? They would have to expose, they would have to expose where these places really are. But see,
sorry about that.
Go ahead, what you gonna say?
There's boats. The boats is called canoes. The canoes are found in Italy, in the Mediterranean. They found canoes in Africa, dating back
no, the fuck they didn't.
Ma'am, you can look it up.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. Hold on. I ain't trying to.
Ma'am, you could Google it.
I was cooking for a second, but just wait a minute, sir. Now, the Mediterranean. Now you have the American Mediterranean, which show from the Gulf of Mexico to South America, right? Then you have the Mediterranean Sea of America, which is underneath these lands here. Okay, so you are absolutely right. But see, the out of Africa theory is cave. Africa means cave.
No, right? I'm not disagreeing with you when it comes to that, but
I was just clearing it up.
Okay, what I'm saying is that there is in the museums they got canoes in
yes, they do, but I'm talking about as far as political maps that they've shown people in school.
No, right? I concur.
Wait. But we know museums loan things out.
Hold on. He said steamboat. He said a canoe.
But museums loan out artifacts, and just because they say they got it from an area, that's where they picked it up and traded from, but does not mean that is the origin of the artifact. And so there's a lot of artifacts that are from South America that are now sitting in the British Museum.
This is what I'm trying
to say. And if you looked at it without a caption, you would assume it was African.
What I'm trying to convey,
you don't know your golden artifacts.
The only thing
I'm about to give y'all something real quick.
I'm trying to convey.
Look up Africa, Ohio. Okay. Look up Nigeria, Ohio. Look up Lagos, Ohio. Okay. Right. Look up how Christopher Columbus really came from Ohio. Look up how there's in Atlanta, Ohio, that they labeled as the Atlantic slave trade, which it wasn't. It was the enslavement of indigenous people. Okay. In the 1400s and back to the 1350s. Okay. Now, when you understand that these places were labeled here, what you have to understand what land maps are and political maps. Political maps is where you will find Mexico. Mexico wasn't Mexico until 1820. Okay. these other places that they're talking about, just like I showed y'all, the African diaspora is the Americas. That shit don't exist until you understand what cave mean. We have 45,000 caves, which is actually, a cave is another way of saying what? Pyramids and shit that they cover up, mounds and shit. You get what I'm saying? So when you understand the original Cuba and Bahama, all of that shit was here. Look up Bahama, North Carolina. Look up Cuba, New Mexico, where they NUKED'd that motherfucker July 16th, 1945. Okay? The real Jamaica, all that shit was here. Nova Scotia, y'all know what that means? Nova, Scotland, Scots, okay? So what I'm telling you is the whole thought that anybody could have been able to survive that motherfucking long ass drought with no canned goods, the amount of water, fresh water that would have been needed to be on them goddamn ships, it wouldn't have been able to make it. A wooden boat relying on the wind, which is 6 miles per motherfucking hour, salt water, it would have sunk. It would have never made it. You have to be able to follow the ley lines. Okay? You have to be able to stop, get medicine, heal yourself.
You really think
So you know that drawing that they have of this quote unquote how they were stacking us up? Those are catacombs. That ain't no goddamn boat. So I'm just telling y'all, this whole Africa voyage shit is cap. What's up?
See, goddess, that was Thomas Clarkson's illustration. It was a propaganda piece. It wasn't a real thing.
It's catacombs, bro. Yeah. I got the images.
I don't think it's a catacomb anything.
No, it is. I'll show you.
He just drew up a schematic of what he thought that would capture people's imagination of what it would be like being inside of a so-called slave ship. He never actually been inside of the interior of one. So he just drew up a schematic that looked like a puppy mill. But in reality, it didn't happen that way. They didn't get that many people to come over here like that. And they had a fleet of like boats, and they picked up a few people, not to just have them chained down on a boat, because realistically, a person would actually die from that.
Who's a mod in here?
What?
But anyway, what I was saying beforehand with the genetics, they don't have what the guy was saying that, they have 54 continents. All these DNA companies, they don't have access to many of these ethnic groups over there in Africa. They only got like 14 regions, which they assign it as so-called sub-Saharan Africa and Bantu or whatever. And these are not really defining these people's ethnicities, because these are colonial and eugenics terms that they're applying to these people.
Hold on. One second, bro. I promise you I ain't trying to interrupt you. Can anybody put me on the big screen? And you go ahead, you can finish.
I think Jarvis stepped off.
Okay, go ahead. When he get done, I'm gonna show you some.
Real quick, sister. Just quickly. You can look to the essay from Benjamin Franklin, The Observations of Mankind in 1751. He literally said, all of Africa is Black and or tawny, and so is the Americas. So he named all these places. He even said it, why would we plant the sons of Africa in this new world? So they already noted. But the thing is, it doesn't matter what part of these United States, the earliest depictions of indigenous Americans are all melanated people. And I just want to point real quickly, the oldest museum in Europe is the Dresden Castle's Green Vault Museum. They had to go back and correct anything that said African or more and admit that those were actually depictions of indigenous Americans. And we're talking about all kind of statuettes, figurines, and things that you would see. It was literally the Moor with the emerald cluster. You can look up that artwork. They admitted all that was misnomers. All those were meant to be slurs. That's one of Europe's oldest castle is the Dresden Castle Green Vault Museum. So it's all these early depictions of indigenous Americans very much, and that's why people like Garrett, they despise us. That's all this envy, all this this psychological warfare, all of this violence against us. It's all about ain't nothing but colonialism versus indigeneity. So it's way too much evidence showing that, but please check more with the Emerald Cluster, look it up in your Google images. That's an actual depiction of indigenous American.
Yep. And you man, that's why I'm following your ass, because you was absolutely correct.
Quick question. Like I know what melanin means and all that, but like I think some people, when you say melanin, they think of, if you was to see your typical Black person walking down the street, but everybody got melanin. It's just some people got more than others. So I don't know if you can.
It's called pheomelanin. I can tell you what it is. See, what it is when they talk about these three different types: neuromelanin, phenomelanin, uromelanin, right? Uromelanin and phenomelanin is the skin complexion. Okay, neuromelanin is in your brain. So there's a such thing as we have what we have here in the Americas, right? So we don't have what you call a inbred recessiveness, because that's how you get recessive genes. Okay, we have vitiligo, reds, freckles, gingers, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Very fair-skinned people, but they still have neuromelanin in their brain. Now, the crazy part about that is there's some dark-complected people that don't have no neuromelanin in their brain. Mm-hmm. So it's just safe to say that if you ain't got neuromelanin in your brain, you ain't got shits.
To add, because they try to get away with that, your melanin failed to activate. Your eumelanin, and then there's a pheomelanin as well. That's a false melanin, and it's a sulfur-based melanin. It gives off the smell of a wet canine upon contact with water.
Well, see, they don't even have that.
But that's a sulfur-based melanin, and your melanin. So the melanin deficiency, you might have melanin deficiency, meaning your melanin failed to activate. It was like she said, recessive. It failed to activate and express. So melanin is condensed sunlight. Remember that this is sunlight radiating back to you. So when y'all say somebody's life, how can sunlight make me? It retains melanin. So Garrett here has a melanin deficiency. He cannot retain sunlight. He is alert to sunlight.
Period. Everything she just said. And then on top of that, my bad, I was gonna say this and you go ahead.
Africans have the lowest survivability rate.
Basically what it
Africans have the lowest survivability rate of skin cancer.
Let's talk about the infertility, the high rise of infertility. Let's talk about that low sperm count due to the low sperm count is coming from the planet getting warmer, which has reduced the sperm count. So like Benjamin Franklin said, the population of white men is relatively small in the world. You've never been the world's majority.
I'm sorry, goddess. I can't put myself in a good room. I was trying to show. Okay, so look, just like Tyron. Mm-hmm. Okay, now let me show you this shit.
Get that. Small genitalia.
What?
That's why your genitalia is small.
It's a chromosome.
Whatever.
A lot of these kids have what they call it.
I can't show it like that. This is what they're talking about. Okay, let me show you some more. That description is talking about the catacombs, and I'm going to show you exactly the location on where it is.
Down syndrome genome, and Down
Right
syndrome is a recessive gene.
Y'all see that?
That's not a vote.
Want to admit to what
that's where you guys,
it doesn't matter what the sister shows, you're going to discredit and deny. But what we know at the end of the day, you are allergic to sunlight. You don't have any protection against the ultraviolet rays, albinism, and melanin deficiency.
Hold on.
Pretendian.
You can't retain sunlight. That's all I know.
Pretendian, calm down.
Neanderthalenses, Homo neanderthalenses.
Anchor
On,
baby,
on yet
down.
another extinction phase. Don't forget
baby.
that. Don't forget that. That high infertility comes from that low sperm count. That low sperm count. That's why you feel threatened. That's why you feel threatened.
Are you okay?
That high sperm, that high infertility is that low sperm count because it's due to the climate warming. Yes, the polar ice caps, they're melting. Okay, the planet's getting warmer, and you can't take it.
Lila, look.
But if you dominate people, why in the hell are you teaching your people to be victims?
What's up, Crystal?
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
What is that?
You see that?
1 second, y'all. 1 second, y'all.
Did y'all see that?
Stop changing the picture.
Hold on, sir.
Saw it.
Yeah, well, for 1
We
second.
got artifacts all around the
I have
world.
to show it for 1 second. Can you just mute the fuck up, dude?
What is
That's
that?
you guys, but I'm just showing y'all. That's our ancestors.
Skeleton?
Huh? You got me.
Skeletons and fossils don't matter.
Oh no.
So now artifacts don't matter.
Uh-oh.
But what can you show us?
They say
'Cause we sitting here
too.
showing you all this evidence, all this information. What information do you have other than some Columbus myths? Garrett, won't you show us some evidence? Show us some maps. Show us some artifacts. You don't have nothing, so stand down. Stand down. All that white tea supremacy.
White tea.
Okay, so
Not you carrying. No, don't get there. Don't. You don't want to. You don't want to go there. That wet canine smell upon the contact with water.
Who
That's
you or
ungodly.
me?
It is ungodly.
Are you okay?
yes, she's very fine.
No, not while you're here. Why don't you go sit amongst your clan members? Why are you here to tort Dylan Roof? What is this? You a whole Dylan Roof over here. Shut up, Dylan Roof.
Wow.
Bro.
Wow, that really hurts me.
Nah, it's the truth. It's the truth.
It's the truth that you came from
No,
Africa in a slave boat.
Homo,
Nah,
so you're
I
here to
come from
antagonize. You're not
I
here
don't know
to
what Africa
contribute.
is.
And we
I guess
teaching. This is all.
everybody-
I thought this was for
Calm down.
educational purposes. What's the education
What
you're
language
bringing?
do you
Came from
speak?
Siberia.
Present some
Very
evidence.
Siberia.
Present some scientific research.
Google it.
Empirical
Google it.
evidence. Present. You
Google
don't
it.
have anything.
Well,
You've been put in your place.
Bro.
You've been put in your place. And it's all I told you so, nanny boo boo. That's
Did you
kindergarten. Grow
Did you
up.
see? Did you see
Grow
Apocalypto?
up.
What?
First, do something about that lice excretion.
Hold on, Garrett. What you say? FBA?
Go see Apocalypto.
What about Apocalypto?
It's about the Native Americans.
You do
those
know
bunch
that's
of
a
Spanish.
revisionist
Oh my
history,
fucking God.
right?
Dude.
No,
That's that John. You see John,
No,
another John
let me
Wayne
ask him a
film. That was
question.
nothing but John
Let me
Wayne.
ask you a
That's a whole
question.
John
Yo,
Wayne
that's
film.
Mel Gibson. So
Look at John
about a
Wayne.
time
Hold on,
traveling.
one mic,
Kevin Costner.
One mic. One mic. One mic.
Oh shit. I don't even know where to start at.
Who's that? So who
Oh.
saw
Hey,
Apocalypto?
Crystal. Hey, girl. Hey, Crystal.
What's
He
up,
said,
Crystal?
go back to Africa.
Let's
What?
talk about my winning ancestors' history and how they dominated both of the groups.
Neanderthalenses with your high infertility and your small genitalia.
Let's talk about both.
That's the first sign of infertility. That
That
first sign. Shrunken
All that
genitalia.
and we still dominate.
Go get that genitalia up. Go get your sperm
All
count
that
up.
and we still dominate.
That
want
high
some
infertility
sperm?
rate.
You want some sperm? I'll give you some sperm.
By people like
What? Hey, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth, FBA. Watch your mouth.
white domination.
No.
Mute up.
no.
Mute up.
Go
You're
back
here
to
to
England.
antagonize. You don't have any information to present.
Yeah, I was
Let's
about
get
to
to that
say
anatomy. Let's get into that anatomy, though. Get into that anatomy.
Yeah,
You're a whole clan
they got
member.
nothing to add.
A lot of these people be doctors and lawyers off the clock, man. Like really, and that's how they come on TikTok to insert their racism.
A
and
whole
stuff.
Appalachian hillbilly.
And did somebody bring up Apocalypto? That movie is pseudo as hell. Like, it's about some time traveling Spaniards arriving in the period of the Mayans, and the Mayans apparently had smallpox and gave it to themselves.
First of all, they ain't got shit to do with no goddamn Mayan, nothing. That is pepperoni as fuck. Pepperoni and cheese. Well,
Wasn't he happy about that? He happy his people finally got a little roll or something? That don't mean
that ain't got shit to do with
Plus,
that.
it's whitewashing what the
Hey,
actual
bro,
Mayans
hold
look
on,
like.
hold on. Tyron and y'all, do y'all know who these people are? You know they called them the Maghreb. They're Moroccans from Africa.
These are Ottoman Turks. Actually, they Mongols.
They
are
Malak.
They came up with
That's
this
French
term.
Montana
If you've
people.
seen Lawrence of Arabia,
They Khaled.
Malak is their god.
Yeah, the coastline Ottomans.
yeah, if you've seen the movie Lawrence of Arabia, they'll tell you that that's a made up ass word, and that these people that you're seeing there today in North Africa, these are descendants of Ottoman Turk. These are Mongoloid people that came from Siberia, Temujin, and all these other hunter-gatherers with bows and arrows that conquered like Eastern Europe, and then made their way down into the so-called Middle East and bred their way into North Africa. And a lot of these people owned sex slaves in Europe and brought them into North Africa and bleached out the population up there that is now called it used to be called Ganawa. Now it's called Africa or Tunisia, Morocco, Mauritania. These places used to be known as Barbaria to Europeans on like old world maps. This is where you get the tapestry of the dog men and the Moors that's sitting up in the castle shooting arrows at the dog men. They tell you their whole entire history that they're not even aboriginal to Europe. So I don't know what this European talking about saying, oh, we dominate everything, when no, you don't. You've been a slave for most of your life for like thousands of years.
Read this, Tyron.
The ethnicity of people who practice incest is not determined by a single ethnicity, as inbreeding practices vary by culture. Arab countries have the highest prevalence of consanguineous marriages. Middle Eastern cultures have a common traditional practice of inbreeding. Ancient China did not permit first cousins with the same surnames to marry, but did permit those with different surnames to marry. Hold on, wait a minute, since you bring this up. It's always an in joke with the Native Americans that almost everybody is about a cousin on a reservation, but then they sit up here and say that all the Indians died out. Okay, where's the other Indians that survived with inoculation?
I'm gonna tell you something. If you're on a reservation, you're non-American, number one. Yeah. Number two, those concentration camps turn into intern camps, right? Which means that these people need memberships. These people, right? You know what they are? They're Indian agents, which is engine agents, right? In 1972, they stormed into the Bureau of Indian Affairs and stole our records and all that shit. They don't use no goddamn lab. They take our information from either our great grandparent or our great great, and they calculate it by taking half, 50% of it, right? So they actually use our records to actually act as a beneficiary and trustee over our goddamn trust, right? So they've been stealing. That's why Trump doing what he doing.
Yeah, they already said more than 80% of people on all reservations are non-Indians. Also, it's very well documented.
They self-identify.
Yeah, so it's very well documented that they literally would go into people's homes and steal any type of paperwork that they had at the time. The Cherokee Phoenix published that story about the Black Belt and that migration, that whole Bible Black Belt, if anybody understands historically what the Black Belt is. So the fact is, they've infiltrated a lot of the American Indians. So a lot of the Scandinavians control, and what they did was infiltrate to disrupt from within. So they try to infiltrate and then say, we're going to disband. So that's what happened. But the Supreme Court already ruled that these American Indian tribes never officially disbanded. And then they told anybody with melanin that they must be from Africa, told them that there's no way they could be American Indian. And then they let the Scandinavian Neanderthal infiltrate the Native American tribal groups. But then told anybody with melanin that they're clearly from Africa.
You mean the homesteaders?
Quick question. So what about the reservations on like the East Coast, like in New York and Florida? Like, are they like? I'm just trying to put two and two together.
So the reservations on the East Coast, they're not Fed recognized; they're state recognized.
No. Like Shinnecock is Fed and Pequot and all that. I'm just trying to.
And so a lot of them are our people, but you tell them that they can't join the tribal members because you create blood quantums, which has Cherokee Nation says is actually racist. And so you actually prohibit. So if their grandparents were told they couldn't join the tribes because of their skin color, like y'all make everything about skin color.
No,
So
I get it. So I'm just. I know
were literally told they couldn't. So if you remove the lineage, so people had to sue to get back into these tribes. A lot of these cases had to go all the way to the Supreme Court. So then you say, well, blood quantum, take these DNA tests, but then you allow Scandinavian Neanderthals to infiltrate. So blood quantum is racist, and all of this is racial, skin color, some type of discrimination. So if their grandparents were ejected or denied tribal membership, then there's nothing to pass on to the lineage, and that's been the play the whole time. It's disinheritance.
Yeah, I know. So some tribes don't do that,
right quick.
Or they got rid of it.
Okay,
I know
so
that.
let me. Okay, what you say, CJ?
I'm saying because I'm talking about like the few reservations that are on the East Coast. I'm trying to. I don't want to create no confusion, but if you're comparing the ones on the West Coast to the East Coast, they're the same. If you have a reservation, I would say they're different. Because if you're saying the ones. I know that.
Anytime you do any times with the government, you are working as an agent. You are initiated as an agent because the government can't do itself because it's a corporation. It's not a real entity. So they have to get them to do the job.
Many of those tribes failed.
Can I explain this real quick? Okay. So to be federally recognized, right? That's not us. Okay. Now, number two. When you understand that these reservations, right? We didn't get the 40 acres and a mule. That was not promised to us because we still are the heir to this land. Okay. So when you understand the reservations, right? Hold on, Tyra. The reservations and all of this shit, right? It was through indentured servitude, right? But see, we were never supposed to live on these reservations. We were supposed to run these reservations. That's why they're called Indian reservations, but it was called Indian reservations at first, okay? Because Indian means hero. You cannot claim to be an Indian unless you come from the people who created every fucking thing, right? So what I'm finna do is show y'all who these people are. The Maghreb immigrants first arrived in Canada around this time, right? Now you see the Maghreb, I'm gonna show you who these people before they was wearing feathers and shit. You see that at the bottom? Maghreb. This is who they are. Gang. Big gang. Here you go. These people.
They supposed to be who?
These natives are.
Africans.
They supposed to be who?
Right,
I'm just curious. Like,
yeah, before before they was wearing turbans. Before they was wearing feathers and shit, they was wearing turbans and hijabs.
So, but who would they be now? Then I'm just kind of trying to put two and two together.
They're saying, I got you. Look, what does it say?
They're the Moors.
The 19. We're talking about the first one, 1950s.
They're not the Moors. The Moors is the bloodline. They could be ish. Anything that ends with ish is somewhat kind of sort of. They're the Africans. I just showed y'all who the Africans were. So look, the 1950s plan to erase Indian country. Okay? Right? So people can. I just showed y'all this. Right?
Okay.
Showed y'all who them people is. On top of that, right? Deep game. Okay, they don't want me to just.
I'm confused. I'm just trying to put like, are they supposed to be like the?
Oh, no, my bad.
So CJ, you have to understand the public education system and all this CRT has told these for generation these people who they were. So they don't even look as far back to see that they actually had ancestry on this continent before the United States was even instituted. So if you tell these people, oh, you're from Africa and the records were lost or it burned down or there's no evidence, they're not going to look. But when people actually take the time to look, they find out that they have some claim to the land, different areas as far back as 1600, 1700, whenever all this was documented. But if they don't look, so we have a lot of people that just don't know their genealogy. And that's what we're encouraging here. At least for the most part, what I'm encouraging is for people to go do their genealogy. Check I can only speak for my family.
Oh, I done my genealogy. I showed Darby helped me with it. Like I know my shit from front to back.
Basically what we did was trade places. We trade names. Now they want to attach Africa to us, right? In 1988, but Jesse Jackson got sued in 1990 for that shit.
Right.
Okay. So this is his son. Boom.
That's whose son again? My fault.
Right here on the picture.
That's whose son?
Father and son.
Oh, father. Okay.
That's what you get when you know what I'm saying, that word. These same people. I'm gonna just click through. Same motherfuckers. Right? Look. Right here.
Descendants of sex slaves from Europe.
Oh, don't say that word. TikTok is for entertainment, educational purposes.
Drop some fruits in the chat, y'all. What's up?
Got some fruits in the chat. This is a script. This is a book. Chapter 5.
Look very native to me, don't it?
No.
Cap.
By the definition alone, it means born in a place.
And maybe in Canada.
Maybe
in Canada. Oh no.
CJ,
some mosquito patties.
CJ, the term
Everything.
native means slave. Look at the etymology.
Let's get to this nativity.
The root word
definition. You speaking English?
Yes.
What you say, David?
No, I'm talking to somebody on YouTube.
Oh. Go ahead. I interrupted Goddess. Go ahead, my bad. I was just.
Oh, sorry, Crystal.
Yeah. 1740.
Oh, I got her.
Them peoples not American. The ancient Berber. They call him a Berber, but his ass is Ottoman.
Well, I'm about to play this Chakrabarty DNA portion. It's a short clip right quick. I want y'all to hear what it says.
Hold on, Crystal speaking. Yeah, hold on, Crystal speaking.
Oh, okay. So so section 4. I love section 4 because it's more. We're trying to tell me that my Indian, was going through some changes in section 1, but it's okay though, because I am saying Genesis. Y'all pronounce it for me. I'm country. Don't hold me. American. I'm a by blood citizen in America. So whatever, right? But section 4 is so important because it says the term Negro SLs is confined to the ancient Berber and its descendants, not meaning the free inhabitants of Africa, such as Egyptian, Moor, and Asiatic Lascar, the Asiatic Negro, the Lascars. Yeah. And then I don't have section 7 up here, but you can look this law up. And in section 7, it said that these Berbers could become free coastal people if they took a bath.
Go ahead, so.
So the mestizo, meaning mixed, the mulatto, the Indian and the Negro, they should all be slaves. Oh my goodness, that's profound. So when these people are talking about they're Indian, I'm trying to figure out, like, where did your ancestors start on the Trail of Tears? Where did they end up? What's the atrocities that happened to your people? The fact is that when these people moved west, they squatted on their land, they took their culture, they started dressing as if they were chiefs. All this is cosplay, it's costumes to them.
Nothing? No, nothing. So I got this right here, one question.
Yeah.
Don't leave me on the screen. I got one more thing to shout. I have this one question for the Nabisco and the coleslaw churn with the feathers, and the offbeat two-step.
Crystal.
So the law that referred to non-reservation Indians as Negroes. Some girl tried to fuss me down about this one day. Girl, shut up. The law that referred to non-reservation Indians as Negroes is the Indian Reorganization Act of 1934. So I'm gonna need for just one of them Nabisco coleslaw churn.
Negro is Espanol, and who we've been added with about all of this for the most part has been the Spanish conquistador descendants.
Exactly.
They've always had issue with Negro is Espanol. Okay, that's all that is.
Yeah,
yes, it's just.
To add on what you're saying is, before the English came into the United States, it was the Spanish that came in and was enslaving who? The Southeast Indians, right? And allegedly, since the FBAs bring up 1526, they say they allegedly brought in slaves in 1526 and San Guadalupe Miguel voyage, right? These wouldn't have been Africans. These would have been Caribbean Indians taken from the Caribbean islands and brought up here to be bred into the indigenous mainland population. So you're hitting the nail on the head with this one. But I digress.
This is so profound, Crystal. The Indian Reorganization Act of 1934. By this time, Tulsa had already happened. How many race massacres have already happened? And to talk about Tulsa, I mean, let's call it what it is. Tulsa is Cherokee and Muskogee land. For those that migrated to Oklahoma, Okmulgee Indian Territory, after, this is around the 1890s, 1880s, and settled in what we today call Tulsa. So all that Black Wall Street, that was built because there was a surplus of land, because these people absolutely received their Indian land allotments, which we still hold today. So we have a lot of work to do, but this land was supposed to be set aside, reserved land for the Indians. So, but if you're talking about Indian reorganization, and she's sitting here with this information, like, you can't refute that. She done dug too far deep in the archives. Nobody has any information really to refute this. The Indian Reorganization Act of 1934. Like, you can't refute that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're the reason the landlord.
The other people, more rights to govern themselves or whatever. No, boo boo, because me and my brother beat Chat GPT to a pulp to get this information.
And here's what kills a full-blood native argument. Pull up my screen right quick, because this is what kills them. You can't deny the Negro as an Indian no more.
You gotta say it on the live, brother.
Yeah.
See this on etymology.com. Let's read. It says native, noun, mid-15th century, person born in bondage. So who do they like to call and associate the word slave with? Us, right? So, and then they turn around and deny us our Indian ethnicity on tribal records, right? They said, you ain't got no full-blood native blood. So what is a native? It says a slave, a person born in bondage, one born a serf or a villain. These are white ethnic groups that are the Alemanni, aka the Germanics. So they're giving you their name and mixing the dough, kicking you out.
a since noun obsolete from native adjective. So they're using this term as a politically correct term to refrain from saying what? Indian, right? So, and in some usage from medieval Latin, nativus, noun use of nativus, adjective, compare, Old French native, which also meant woman, born in slavery, right? So who was the one initially in the transatlantic slave trade used to produce all the slaves? Wasn't African women. They didn't bring African women here yet. It was mostly indigenous females. So again, from 1530 as one born in a certain place or country, applied from century 1600s to original inhabitants of non-European nations, where Europeans hold political power, for example, American Indians by 1630, hence used contemporaneously of the locals from 1800 related to natives. Now let's go up here to the top. So the adjective version of it, late 14th century, native, natural, inborn, hereditary, connected with something in a natural way. From Old French, native, native, born in raw, unspoiled, 14th century, and directly from Latin nativus, innate, produced by birth, from natus, past, participle. I'm stumbling over my words. Participle of nasi, Old Latin, gnasi, be born, related, gener, beget, from pi root word gene, give birth, beget, with derivatives referring to procreation, familial, and tribal groups. From early 15th century is born in particular place of indigenous origin or growth, not exotic or foreign, also pertaining to one by birth, as in native land. Also used early in 15th century and now obsolete since a bond, born in servitude or serfdom. So when you use these words, tread lightly because words cast spells. So the or serfdom of metals, minerals, etc., occurring in a pure state in nature, 1690. So Native American, in reference to the Aboriginal peoples of America, is attested by century 1900s as the name of the journal devoted to Indian education. And we already know the deep history behind Native American. That's Charles Lewis Levin coining the term for white people, not indigenous Americans. But in reference to the Aboriginal peoples of the Americas is attested by century 1900s as a name of the journal devoted to Indian education. In the early 1970s, activist Indians began calling themselves Native Americans from the peyote using Native American Church, incorporated in 1918 Oklahoma and subsequently in other states. The newer term, aside from disassociating its users from the reservation life of the past, was a form of one-upsmanship, since it reminded whites just who was on the premises first. Hugh Rawson, Wicked Worlds.
I got a question though. All right. I get all that. I get all that. But I'm just like, if you are indigenous or whatever you want to call yourself, I don't know, the junk stuff, Aeon Times, I don't know how to say that shit. But in any case, what you're saying, all these are American English words, why don't people just say the tribe they're from? I mean, I don't see how hard that is.
How about you don't hunt us down? How about every time we give you information, you hunt us? You want our social security number too, CJ? You want our date of birth and our addresses too? You want our bank account routing number and our PIN?
Where's this coming from? Look,
why are you so obsessed with how we choose identify? We're coming here because we're not about to get tribal.
That's why them Africans are over there, the Janjaweed, that's why they over there fighting. We don't have to do all that right now. We sharing general information. Why do we have to go discriminate and start listing out tribes for your benefit to make you feel comfortable? Why are you centering yourself?
Man, why are you so aggressive?
No, but no, you don't stop talking to me. Stay in your place. Stay in your place. Because you're listening intently to Tyrone.
Christ, damn.
To Tyrant.
If somebody was to ask me personally,
I don't care. And I won't ever respond how you respond. You and I have nothing in common. So we don't have to address ourselves how you think we should. We're not here to make you feel comfortable.
Ma'am, I just asked a question.
I don't care, boy. I don't
That
care.
was the answer.
Oh, my fault.
It was very
spoken
specific.
to.
My fault.
Stay in your place.
And complete.
Damn, what the fuck? What? Damn.
She answered the question.
I know. I was like,
Black
okay,
mama.
You should be
that's why
I
I
say
said
you
to
had no
each
black
his
American
own.
mama.
That's why I said to each his own.
How you doing,
Right.
Donald?
Satisfaction.
But you want us to identify how you want us to identify. We sitting here being general. We don't have to get tribal.
Okay, good evening. Some people do have tribal ancestors. I'm from the West Indies, and I came from the Kalingo tribe, Kalinago tribe, which I'm a Carib. So what the sister is saying and what they're saying about Black Americans is the truth. Even though they don't know exactly what tribe that they're from.
Nobody said we didn't know what tribe. Ain't nobody
Right,
said
that's
we know.
not what
We
it's
don't have to
about.
identify for the colonial.
Period.
Cologne.
And stalkers and doxers.
Right. So I'm an American, and I bet you, CJ, that we can start at your mammy and at my mama. Right. And I can keep going from my mama to her mama's mama till I get into so far you would have been lost and think I am just calling out random people at this point. You
would stop at
Nazi behavior.
I
You got tantamous
guarantee
to the
you
land.
can't name no American grandmamas as many as I can. I bet you can't. Come on, let's put some money on it.
Because they don't got birth certificates.
I need 5 G's right now.
I just seen my family tree.
You have?
Yeah, I done my family
The
tree.
thing is,
The already has helped me on my family tree. Like no bullshit.
So when did your ancestors get to these United States?
Yeah, we
You've been here.
Been here since when?
When? What grandmama you got came across the inside of what you call it, baby? The Trail of Tears, yeah. Okay. Now, you say you Tuscarora? From where?
In North Carolina, Robeson
No,
County.
where?
I said Robeson County.
From Hallsboro? No, that's not Hallsboro. That's
With Jocko now?
I said Robeson County.
Why do you take the screen
No,
back?
I'm finna name some towns.
Okay.
So what town?
Back
What's
Swamp.
up, Frenchie?
You said Back Swamp.
Yes, ma'am.
Robeson County.
Yeah, Robeson County.
Is that like Autryville and all that?
No, that's where Lumberton at. In my people stay in Columbus County, right? And they from all over Columbus County. My people is, and my people from Wayne County too.
Okay, I got on my father's side. I got people from Snow Hill, and I think Wayne too. I think
you guys, you Snow Hill.
Yeah, my father's side. They from Snow Hill.
Throw me one random last name.
Hill. Hill.
He getting us off the natives. That's what's
So
happening.
is this CJ? Is he melanated or is this
Yeah, he getting
Scandinavian?
us off the
Is
natives.
this
No, I'm not
Scandinavian?
saying no, I'm
Neanderthal
melanated.
scene?
I'm melanated.
Yeah, but right.
Oh, okay. So why
I'm
the
all-
challenge? What's with all the challenging? What's with
Right.
all
No,
the?
I'm not challenging. I just like asking questions and go from there. Like that's.
Yeah, but you was
I don't want to challenge. That's not what I'm trying to do.
You about to get in a scrimmage for no reason.
I got you. Literally, I got you. I apologize.
What is it called? The
I
physical
apologize.
You
I
about
got
to
it.
get
My
the
fault. My
physical
fault.
No,
in
I
the
mean because I think it's he just wanted to tell us you Tuscarora. Is that
Nah, he
why,
European
why
and
do
No,
that? Right.
that's
Is that
not
all?
what I'm trying to do.
Is that what the challenge was? Because you just wanted to tell us your Tuscarora. Congratulations. Now what?
Yeah, fuck crime.
That's not what I wanted to do in the first place.
Because fuck
Can you tell us about
and my
Tuscarora?
granddaddies are all kind of Tuscarora. Fuck tribe.
Yeah. So what can you tell us about the Tuscarora? Where does that name come from? Because I'm don't even worry about what I am. So what tell me about this, because Tuscarora is our term that we gave to y'all. So what can you tell us?
Well, the actual name is Skorure. It's not. That's the actual language. Yeah, Skorure.
Sorry.
Get your sword sharp.
You woke up.
I'm woke on.
I'm definitely woke on. I am from the Hunter, Owen Okay.
That's what's up.
Water woke on. Okay. I don't like I ain't ever gonna say the other group because I don't know who them niggas is. Okay. Y'all too many different motherfucker them complexions for my liking.
my thing is Tuscarora, now what? CJ, you did your genealogy, you found out your Tuscarora, now what?
Nothing. It's just
nothing.
Nothing.
Just nothing.
It's just, I'm gonna do me. That's all I'm gonna do me. If I want to go further than that, that's on me. I mean,
so why do you need us to identify?
I don't. That's not.
You just being frivolous.
I just asked the question. I was like, if you don't want to use it, that's fine. I'm not pressing the issue. Shit.
What's the benefit to use?
It's all.
There's a disadvantage.
Just frivolous, because we got time to waste.
It's
in
more
the high inflation
separation.
economy. Okay.
How you saying that ain't no benefit to using that? Ain't this way? Is you on a reservation?
No, I live in Charlotte.
Well, young man, there is a benefit of using it.
Same city I'm in.
Because if you don't use your tribal pull you over, that's why certain Black Americans get prosecuted the way they are from these whiteys. But once you could state your tribe and who you are, you get treated differently. So it's very important to use it.
That's a fact.
I feel. I think in a court of law it means a lot.
You don't even got to go to court. As soon as they pull you over, you need to identify who you are.
Once they see that that employee badge, then I guess you're safe.
Membership. Today's little government, I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
Bad. Tribal card. I mean, I just want to know what's the occupation of natives on the reservation? Like, what do they do for a living? How do they make their money?
I'm not on the reservation, so I don't need to ask when people that live on the reservation. I don't know.
You don't get no funds?
I'm not on a reservation. I told you I live in Charlotte.
I'm just asking you don't get no funds.
I mean, from what I've seen on like YouTube videos and shit, or if they're in a poor reservation, they poor. They ain't really doing too much of nothing. Or they let regular people go outside the reservation and work regular jobs.
Waste of reserved land. They work in Cherokee, they work in the offices. They the one doing all the doohickeys with the paperwork and let the little Scandinavian waterhead babies register. And they get there and they get them college benefits. They work the schools, they work the banks. And if the tribal chief gets a little bit too wild, they reel him in. They work and they hold titles. They're members at large. That's what they do. They sit there, they reconstruct the Constitution, they infiltrate in all areas. And they make sure that Oklahoma, for example, has power over these so-called 5 tribes. That's what they do. They don't give a damn about your they don't give a damn about your Indian card. They don't give a damn about your Indian tags. They don't care. It actually makes them more envious if you melanated. So none of that is a benefit. But that's what they're there to do, to disrupt from within, to infiltrate.
Let me ask you a question.
Well, I live
No,
out
hold
here
on,
in
sir.
Oklahoma, so
Hold on.
what is it? What
Hey,
is it that's going?
Goddess.
Hold on, Jim.
Goddess. Guess what? Lila. You know when you look up Indian agent, why do they show TPs?
Wow.
Yeah, because the Negroes on Black Wall Street ain't built the hotels yet. And the crazy thing about all this correspondence between the Indians and those Indian agents reporting back to Washington, D.C., the correspondence is all there. Our people were very much telling them that there is a lot. They were complaining at the time that there were people who were not getting benefits as part of the Homestead Act.
Let's get to 25,000 likes, y'all. Thank you for the follow, Divine Sunshine.
So, Big Bear, before you start speaking, what's your grandma name? What's your third, fourth, and fifth generation mama's mama name?
Want to pronounce it?
Oh shit! How many
Big Bear,
Mandelas?
I heard you had a good live the other day.
Big Mac in a good live? Hello?
With the
I don't
Indians.
host lives. I don't host
No,
lives.
not like that. I'm talking about you had a good one with the Indians, with the copper-colored Indians. They said you were very respectful.
Oh yeah.
You had a good time?
Darvin knows I'm respectful.
Where you want to be?
Sometimes.
Magnificent knows.
Where you want to
Magnificent
be?
knows too.
I believe you could be.
Yeah, what do you want to?
You like to play too much.
Oh, it says you guys were crying about reservations. Why don't you guys go like petition for one?
Is it still flooded?
We already own it.
But what
About our personal
No.
estates. Like, who are you to tell us what we should do? We don't need your recommendation. Like, who are you? Why are you so worried about it?
Layla, you say you don't
I
look.
bet you won't roll up to North Tulsa.
You say you're not African.
I bet you
but
won't roll up to Tulsa saying
But
that.
your
I
profile
know you
really
won't.
shows that you're 102%
I know you won't.
African.
I know you won't.
Your
Okay.
Your profile is
Okay.
yeah.
Huh? Big
Look at
Bear
your-
with
look
your
at your
coward
profile.
profile name. What you
Look
say
at-
with your coward
look at-
profile name? You too
Look at your
embarrassed to wear your
profile.
family surname?
Look at your profile and keep telling
Yeah,
yourself
look
you're
at
African.
you. Okay.
Show your face
Smice
again,
is waiting
Big
for
Bear.
you.
That's lookership. That's
Slap
not
your
science.
triangle.
Yeah,
Let
but
us see your
anyway,
forehead again.
Can we not use
that's
lookership
why
with
that's
that?
why Smice is
I
waiting
wanna
for you
go
at
and
the
clap
door.
your
That's why they
heels.
waiting on you at the
Clap your
door.
heels 3
Mr.
times
That's
Big
and
why
Bang,
then
you
go
can
ain't.
we
home.
not
That's why
use
you on
lookership?
TikTok
Don't
arguing
work
with a
too hard,
woman.
though. You go
Smice
back
is
up
waiting
in
on you
Africa.
at the door. Okay,
Don't
they
wish
waiting
too
Can we
on
not
you.
use
hard.
That's
lookership,
why you
bro?
can't use your real name.
Ice is cold, Big Bear.
Big Bang.
Big back.
AC
You know
then.
he need a big snack. Big
Why'd you
back,
guys admit
big
to
back.
AC?
Big Bang, I want you to read this on the screen,
Why'd
Big
you guys
Bang.
admit to AC?
What
Return
does
the back.
Russell B say?
We admitted the AC because you was sweating too much, Big Back. We didn't want
I
your titty
got
sweat.
a question for Big
Make it
Bang.
rain, cause it rain. Hold on 1 second. Let me get this joke off.
Why?
We invented the
Why?
AC because you was sweating too much. We didn't want your titty sweat cause it rain and shit. So go ahead,
Why?
Crystal. You got it. Yeah, I told you why.
You know
Go
why?
ahead, Crystal.
You know why? It's
Cause
too hot.
So
out
Big
there.
Bang, what's the name of the housing
Someone
authority
in the
project you
field.
lived in?
Someone in the field thought about that.
Hey, yo,
Man.
yo, son.
I wish I
What's the
could
name of the
create
housing
song
authority you
that
live
blows
in?
cold air.
Can you not hear me?
Back to El Salvador. We got to
Ooh,
send
it's
you
too
to El
hot in these
Salvador.
fields.
Hold
I wish
on,
I
because
was
they waiting on you
in
in El
that
Salvador.
house.
He can hear you. He don't
El
want to answer.
Salvador,
Hey,
they
wait.
Name
taking
your
y'all.
project.
That's how
They
they came
they
up with
waiting
that.
on you. They free airline ticket to
Why
El
did they come
Salvador.
up with
He
the
heard you. He don't
doorknob?
want to answer.
Why did they come up with the doorknob?
What your project's name?
You
Why
raised
you
the
guys invented the
project, Big Bear.
doorknob?
I doubt he's even in these United States.
We
He
know
why.
Hold on,
He on that
let me
Mexican
big back.
Wi-Fi.
No, he got his trade.
One second. I was about to say
You know why?
we invented the doorknob.
Why?
Right. Yeah, because
Trying to
we
keep
tried
that white man outside.
What? We try to keep you outside because you gonna eat all the bison. That's why.
Yeah,
You gonna eat all,
Papa, the doorknob.
you gonna eat all the
keep the white
cookout
bastard
food, big
outside.
bag. You gonna kick
Because the white man be coming
he
inside
eat
the house late at night. That's why you need the doorknob.
Doorknob.
Throwaway, I feel like they can just sit comfortably in these spaces with us. Like you're a whole throwaway from your culture. But you're a whole throwaway.
I gotta take her serious with that profile.
But you about to get a free ticket to El Salvador.
I gotta take her serious with that profile.
But you about to get a whole free ticket to El Salvador though. But you follow me and I blocked you. You
Look at your
followed me though and
profile
I
picture,
blocked
Big
you.
Bear.
So you must
Big
be
Bag,
interested.
could you
I'm
read
not
this on
interested
the
in
screen?
You better
I
get
can't
that
see
free
it.
He
trip
can't
to
read
El
it.
Salvador
He
though.
can't read it anyway.
The font's too small.
He
It's
can't
not
read it
small at
anyway.
all.
Maybe if you do one line at a time.
I'll put it on the big screen for you. There you go, big bag.
Oh,
Big
that's on
bag,
me.
big
This is
bag.
one thing I always maintain that I am an American Indian, not a Native American. See? Native American and Indians are the same thing.
He said he's not a
He said
Native
it's not.
American, and it's not the same
Yeah.
thing.
English ain't your first language.
It's not the same.
Indigenous language.
Bro, you're not gonna do that.
Español que
What?
Kristen, eh?
Big Bear, you not gonna do that.
What characters do you use? What's your
Yes.
character? What kind of characters?
See?
That's
That language
does anybody
one.
find that to be really
That
wild?
language won World War II.
So what's your tribe again, Big Bear? What tribe?
Ask these guys. They know.
What tribe? El Salvadorian?
They know.
What tribe?
I'm
What
gonna go
tribe?
to
You know what?
What tribe? What tribe? What tribe?
My haplogroups found there.
Yeah, what tribe?
the
are
fuck
you?
is a haplogroup?
Because you're not a tribal member. You're a descendant of the conquistadors from Spain.
What?
Not even.
So what tribe are you? What tribe are you?
My people
Genizaro
fought the
tribe.
conquistadors. Sorry.
What tribe are you?
I'm sorry. My people fought the conquistadors.
What tribe are you? You are the conquistador. You are a descendant of grape. So
How
your ancestors,
how are we
they didn't send their
conquistadors?
best.
That's wild.
What tribe are you?
Now, Big Back, I want you to read this.
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
I want you to read, boy.
Why?
Oh yeah. This is the racist white people that we're talking about. The
You
know
just
nothing
said
party.
you just said that it's the same thing as Indian. What does it say?
But you know why they call themselves the Native American, the Know Nothing Party, right?
What does it say? Read.
Read, nigga, read.
Bro, this is already been debunked.
Bear, why don't you have any smoke
This has
for
been
the
debunked.
for the Scandinavian?
You guys keep bringing up-
My question is this: why
you
don't
guys
you
keep
ever have
bringing
smoke
up-
for?
Hold on, let me go
You
back
guys
to
already brought up-
the etymology.
Why you got smoke? Why you got so
been
many
debunked.
issues
I want
with
you to
us?
read this
Why-
etymology
why?
too, simultaneously.
No.
But why
Well,
don't y'all have
what's
any
your problem?
issues with the
What's
Scandinavians?
your issue with Native Americans?
Why don't you ever have any smoke
You're the
or
one that's
issues
talking
with
about
the
reservation.
Scandinavians that are deporting
What
your
is-
people to El
What are you
Salvador?
talking about reservations for? What does it have to
So
do
Big
with you?
Bag, Big Bag, what does it say?
What is the how does
This
the
ain't nothing
reservation
but
harm you?
Spain versus the indigenous.
Big
All the
Bag,
reservations are different, Big
Mr.
Bear.
Big Bag.
How does the
Could you
reservation
explain
affect
this?
you guys daily?
Since you're
How does the
denying,
reservation
hold on, since you're denying the Negro-ness of Indians, what does Native say?
a person that's born to where they originate from?
The
What does that
literate
say?
The
What does
literate
it
In
say?
bondage, Big Bear.
You a
2.5
slave,
5 million.
boy. You was a slave. So
You
how
know
do you
what
have
bondage is?
historical amnesia about your own identity? Says right
What do
here,
you
you're a
mean?
slave.
his history. He's so ashamed of his
Yeah,
conquistador past.
Native Americans were the first ones to get slaves.
Big Bear wishes he was a conquistador.
Shame to be.
They
What
were
they
servants.
say,
So
what
the
they
first-
say is the common
first-
thing that
the
they
first
like to
Native
say is,
Americans-
"Oh,
the first
y'all
Native
was
Americans
the
to get
slaves,
enslaved
we
was
was
the
the
Tainos.
braves, and we was the coyotes out in the wilderness, and y'all was the dog that was answering to the master, right? That's
So,
their common
Big Bear,
narrative, right?
where was your ancestors
So
enslaved?
we was the
Hold on,
Olmecs
hold on,
that
Big Bear. Where
nobody
was your
believes
ancestors
us,
enslaved? Where
that
were
we
your
built the
ancestors
mound,
enslaved?
but we
Big
haven't
Bear.
seen there.
Where were your ancestors enslaved? Where? Because you
Yeah,
know
the
they were
people
the
were
ones doing
enslaved.
the harm and the violence. Where were your ancestors enslaved?
Yeah, they were enslaved.
Exactly.
In Mexico.
Where?
He was Genizaro.
They were
Where?
enslaved
Big
into
Bear.
Mexico.
No, seriously, where were your ancestors enslaved? You said the Native Americans were the first to be enslaved. Where were your ancestors enslaved?
New Mexico.
See, you don't know anything.
You
You're a
don't know.
coward and you have
New
fake
Mexico.
profile.
New Mexico
That's
was
a
not
Mexico.
a slave territory
Yeah,
until
look up
after
So you
the
just making stuff up to
Reconstruction.
derail the conversation. There's people
Look up
actually here
House-
that want to learn,
House New
that actually
Mexico,
want to get this
dumbass.
knowledge and information. You're
You
here
guys
to
are
derail the
dumb.
conversation. You have
You're
nothing to
dumb.
contribute.
House
Thank
New
y'all for
Mexico
following.
was
Yeah.
not a slave state yet.
You
That
said,
became
where's
a
your
slave.
people? Where
That
you
became
said,
an
where's your people
enslaved
got
state until
slaves?
like after
I'm
Reconstruction
telling
and
you,
the
the
Because
slave
your whole
Emancipation
Columbus,
Proclamation.
you Columbus and somebody else's heritage. Because
We're
you have,
talking
No, that's
you
your
have all the
grandpa.
smoke for us. You have none for
That's
the
your
white
grandpa
team.
that brought you
You have
here.
none for the
That's
Klan
why your
members. You
grandpa
have no
brought you
smoke for
here.
them. You have because you're the
That's
same
your grandpa
person
that
as
brought
them.
you here.
You have no smoke for the white tea colonials.
That's your uncle
You
that got
are a
you.
Spaniard and you still mad
Yeah,
about
you're
1492 the Moors.
You're
You
still
still
mad
want the
that
Moors
you're
to go to
African.
Spain. That's all this is.
You can't run
You still
from the
upset about
Africans.
the
That don't mean
Moors
you can't
conquering
run.
Spain.
Respectful
That's
dropping.
that's the old world. That's the old world.
Still
We're
upset.
talking about
You ain't got
America.
no smoke for the
We're
white
talking
tea
about
colonials.
America.
You have no
He's
smoke
gonna
for the
crash out.
colonizers. Zero smoke.
So you guys taught the white people
Yeah, he's done.
civilization, but they
Why
turned
don't you have any
around.
issues with the
They
white
turned around
colonials? Why don't
and
you have any
enslaved
issues
you
with the
guys.
colonials? Why you not
That's
giving it to
crazy.
them
They
about
want
getting
to
your
be
land
like
back?
them.
Did you know
They
that?
want to be
Why
like them.
Did
why
you
we
guys
don't
know
see you
that?
protesting for your land back?
You
They
guys,
want to be like them.
you guys handed them.
Because
You
they
guys
are the same
actually
people.
handed them
Yeah,
civilization.
they're the same. The Spanish
And it
crown
only
and the
took a
English
few
crown
years.
united after the
And it
fall of
only
the
took a
Moors in
few years.
1492. You're the
And it
same
only took a
people.
few years
You're the same people that
for them to
instituted
turn around
slavery in these
and
Americas. You're
enslave
the
the whole
same. You're the
continent.
same conquistadors.
Get them, sis.
You guys got enslaved all over the world. You guys got exported all over the world.
So now we're the slaves because you said the Native Americans were the
Yes.
slaves. So now you're the
Yes.
conqueror, huh? So now
You
you're
guys,
the
you guys were
you're the
enslaved
slave
all over the
trader
world.
now, right? So now
Yes.
you're the
So you
slave
got to
trader,
figure it
right?
out. You don't need no help.
You guys got sent to
So
Japan,
now you're the kidnapper, huh?
Australia,
So now you're the kidnapper. So now
China,
you're the violent. You finally
India.
admit your violent colonial past.
The
You have
Muslims.
no
The
smoke.
Muslims
You have no
enslaved
issues with the
y'all.
white tea Scandinavians.
The
You have no
Roman
issues
Empire
with them because y'all
enslaved
play for the
y'all.
same team.
Yeah.
You're on the same team as
The
them.
Israelites
You
enslaved.
are. That's all you represent.
Speak, sis. Get
Hey,
them.
you're mad. You're mad. You're mad at world history.
This was cooking. What you done? I went to
You're
war.
mad at world history, bro.
I went to war with your people.
You guys can't run
Columbus
from
myth.
it.
You don't
still
even know
on the
when
Columbus
your
myth.
slavery
You
took
can't run
place.
from
You think
it.
because you lack melanin, you have
It
some
happened.
superiority.
It
You don't.
happened, and we can prove it.
Okay.
Please do.
You
Not
are so
friends, bro.
embarrassed
Wait,
that you have to go
He
claim to
said
be
he can
Native
prove it.
How'd you
American.
get your
You
last
are
name?
embarrassed.
Where'd you
Keep it
get your
100,
last
You
bro.
have
name
no
from?
smoke for the colonizers, the ruling power. You have no smoke for them.
What do you have?
You have no
Let's
issues
be
for them.
honest, bro. If we talk about the
Why do you have
Mexican
two
mafia, let's
European
talk about
names?
their politics, right?
Big Bear, you said you
Why
can
do you
prove
have
it.
two European names?
Yeah. You know about the
Prove it or
Lhasa?
drop.
The Lhasa, their politics are different.
Tyrone.
They don't want to
Why
be
are you
black.
here? Go be with your fellow
Tyron.
MAGA. Go
Prove
hang
it or
out with
drop, Big
MAGA.
Bear.
Why'd
Go
you
be
get
with
that
MAGA.
name?
Yeah, but you don't have no problem with
Why'd you
MAGA.
get your last
You don't have no
name?
problem with drums. You don't have no problem with the whitey
That's
colonials
you. That's
that claim to
yours.
own the land.
That's
Why you
your
don't have no problem with
president.
them? You never been at
He's
odds with
your
them.
president.
You have never
Actually,
been
Native
at odds
He
with
Americans
them.
supports
and
the black
Because they want to be
community.
like them.
for Donald Trump. So
They
He's
want to be
your
one
people.
together.
Go over here.
He's your
You
people.
were the people that was
you do
terrorizing the
realize Native
indigenous.
a whole
We
bunch of to Native
He's
Americans
gonna take
and
away the 14th
Latinos voted
Amendment.
Donald Trump.
He's
That's why
gonna
they
take
being
away the
sent to
14th
El
Amendment.
Salvador, talking about we don't have no criminal record.
He's gonna take away the 14th Amendment.
Comfortable
That
sitting
means
here
you.
because you were
That
outcast from
means
your
your
own people. Why
rights.
don't you go sit with your fellow
That means
tribesmen?
your
Why
rights.
don't you go sit with your
Your
fellow
privileges
people?
and your rights are
Why do we have to
taken.
deal with your throwaways?
You know they
can,
running.
we probably can't
We
even go
have to
outside
deal with
after that.
everybody's bottom cast.
You probably
Get
can't
outta
even go
here.
outside after they revoke the 14th
Hey, truth be
Amendment.
told, my ancestors paid the cost for you to be here.
They pay the
No,
cost
my
for you to
people,
be here and live that
own,
life,
my
my boy.
people fought
You
their
come
own
here,
shit,
you
bro.
kill us.
My people fought their own shit,
Listen,
bro.
no, you'll
take
come
them. They
here
don't
and
care
My
if
people
Venezuelan,
fought for their
Colombian,
own shit,
Ecuadorian.
bro.
El Salvador
My
is taking
people still
y'all. They
fighting
got
the
a
right people.
nice little campsite for
I'm in
y'all.
America,
A
lady.
mass
You're
campsite for y'all.
stupid. We're in
You can
America,
sit. You can
lady.
sit there
We're
and
not
help
talking
and
about
help El
South
Salvador
America.
rebuild the land. Go be indigenous to El Salvador.
I'm not,
Where your people
bro.
from,
They
bro?
give me y'all free
You're
airline
stupid.
ticket. You ain't gotta worry. You don't need
You're
no
dumb.
passport.
Where
You're
your people
dumb.
from?
You don't even know which continent you're on, lady.
Where your people from?
I
They
bet
sending you
you.
back to El
I
Salvador. Go
bet
be
you
with your
can't even
Aztec
spell El
kids.
Salvador, lady.
Go yeah.
I bet you
Be with
can't
your
spell El
people.
Salvador.
You get a free ticket.
Big
A
Bear's
free one-way
crashing.
ticket. You ain't
That's
gotta
how
worry
you
about
guys
no
got
return
here.
flight.
Okay, right. That's how you guys
They
got
happy to
here.
send you and your
Okay, right.
sons. They happy
You
to
guys got
send
here
you.
on the free
And
ride.
guess who ain't worried about being sent off? Guess who ain't? The indigenous people.
White people.
They waiting on you. They was waiting on you when you get off work.
They're waiting for you.
You probably already over there.
After they take the
You
14
probably
amendment.
already using that Mexican Wi-Fi. You already
It's
over
your
there.
people.
That's why you mad at us. That's why you really bad, because we ain't worried.
Mm-hmm.
We home. We
You
home.
guys out
We're
Wi-Fi.
home.
You
But
talking
I'm home
about
though. But I'm home though. With your little fake profile name. They was waiting on you because you in hiding. You know you
You're
in
mad.
hiding. You know you
You're mad
scared.
because
I bet
you're
you
mad
scared
'cause
though.
Show
I bet
your
you
face.
always scared. They
You're
waiting
That's
on you
why
at
he
the
wouldn't show
door.
your
Big
face,
back,
ain't it?
cut your camera on.
He ain't gonna do it.
Oh, put
Yeah,
your
with his fake
camera
Big Bear, you
on.
That's
remember
a
I saw
whole
you,
fake
right?
profile. He
I
in
saw you
hiding.
guys.
Listen,
Smite
Remember I
was
saw
waiting
you,
on
Big
you
Bear?
at the airport. They waiting on you at the immigration offices.
Big Bear scared.
I played the streets.
Ow.
You at
I
the
bet you saw my
interstate when you
face.
exit. They waiting
I
at your
respect-
children's school.
Dang.
Ladies, shut
I
up.
respect Mexicans to the
Yeah.
point where
Big
they'll
Bear,
give
be
you
respectful or go away.
They'll come and see you. I respect
Seriously,
them. They'll come
loud.
and see you.
Fuck. That's all she's
Be
They
talking
got
respectful
about.
to the
a free
woman.
airline ticket for you. It don't matter judges orders or
Imagine her.
not. They still they
I
going
feel sorry
full
for her
steam
husband.
ahead. Yeah.
I feel sorry for her
You're not
husband.
home. This is not
Big
your
Bear,
home, sir.
be
We're
respectful.
home.
Damn.
We're home.
She must be.
And you
She
definitely
must
ain't
be
getting no real
divorced.
ID. They definitely not
Why
Your
giving you no
then?
feelings
real
must be
ID.
hurt.
I bet you she
Where
got
you from,
divorced
bro?
twice,
We're
bro, with that
home.
attitude.
And you're
from, Big Bear?
outcast.
You're not
You're
home.
outcast amongst your
You're
own
not
people. They don't
home.
want you.
You from
MAGA's
Your
not
own
Chihuahua?
people
gonna
don't
tell you
want you.
that. MAGA's not gonna tell you that.
Yeah, go take it up with
Yeah,
MAGA.
MAGA. Some
Yeah,
people
go
are
take
gonna
it up
tell
with
you you're
MAGA
home.
because they
Brother
waiting on
Big
you.
Back, I
MAGA's
want
gonna
you
tell
to
you
read
go
MAGA snatching
this.
home.
y'all. They don't care if you walking on
MAGA's gonna tell
walking
you
to the
go
corner
home.
store. They snatching you. Soon
MAGA's
as you
gonna
step
tell you go
outside,
home, lady.
you better have that
Is
fake
this what you
profile
showed up
name.
for, Big Bear?
MAGA's gonna tell you go
Hold on, I
home.
want Big
MAGA's
Back
gonna
to
tell you
read
you're
this.
African.
He can't.
Hey, Big Bear, I want to let you know I'm a
MAGA's
conservative.
gonna
I
tell you
like
say
Trump.
you're African, bro. In your
I like his
face.
policies.
Okay,
Your
and Back
first
gonna
and
say
last
go
name.
back to
I bet
Mexico.
you gonna tell us your
Yes.
first and last
Hold
name.
on 1 second. Everybody be quiet for 1 second, please. I got a question. So, Big Back, was your house made with aluminum foil or tin foil?
What? That's just racist.
Do you have tires on your roof?
What? No.
You have laminate floor.
Yeah, laminate floor.
Does your house move when you do?
Everybody in water.
There you go. Okay, you got it going.
He's southwest.
Electricity.
Yeah, I can't hear
New
that though.
Mexico, Arizona, Colorado type region.
I can't hear the electricity, Big Bear.
So how does
So his house made with
let me
tin
ask you guys a
foil or
question then.
aluminum foil? Look now.
Let me ask you guys
was
a
your house
question.
made with aluminum
Go
foil
ahead.
or
What's
tin
your
foil?
question? I can hear you.
Yeah. What do you want?
I can hear the fear.
Somebody that
No?
was
I was
racist.
gonna say something.
Might be in another room with you and your other cook.
I can hear the shame. Go ahead.
You be calling me a wobbo. Your house.
Ask you a question, Big Bear.
Can you guys check your tap water?
No, tin foil. That's the cheap stuff. Tin foil.
Yeah, it's a serious. I'm just asking a simple question.
This was just to stop all the information that was being shared. That's all he's doing.
Yep, that's what he does.
Big Back to read this shit.
That's what he does.
Can you guys check your tap water?
He likes to interrupt.
Darby, I wanted this motherfucker to read this shit.
He can't read.
You know we can't take too much of Big Back at a time. You only take Big Back. You can only take Big Back in doses. Big Back, Big Back. He's about to eat a Big Mac. You know he needs a big snack. Big
But
bag,
bro,
big
I ain't gonna
bag.
lie.
Big, I thought you was about to do a backpack remix.
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
They
I've been
already
in
did that.
situations where they had it. I've been
You
in
already know.
situations where the Mexicans had the power. I've been in a situation where they had it. They had it in
What?
that region. They had it. And I had to go through them and I had to channel. And they don't fuck with us. I didn't went to war, bro. I didn't shed blood. Nigga, they coming with them things and they very sharp. They sharpen them up just for us.
Mexico
They
got
ride
on
with the
boots.
Aryan Brotherhood.
The Latinos surpassed the whiteys in hate crimes against Black people in Los Angeles.
There you go, man.
Yep.
There
They
you go, man.
commit the most hate crimes. That's
There you
reported.
go, man.
I can believe that. I lived in
And it's
California
steadily
9 years. I
rising.
believe it.
Yes,
believe
ma'am. Yeah, they not our, they're no allies of ours. There ain't no Black and brown. My brother. All we got is us. It's very simple. We gotta wake ourselves up. All we got is us. We ain't got nothing else. Ain't nobody gonna come and save us but us. Black Americans. You hear me?
Behind that, we don't even talk about how it was the Spanish that instituted slavery in the Americas. So they slide in. Everybody wants to unify with us. The African migrants want to work with us. The Spaniards, they want to infiltrate our communities. They want to sit in our spaces. I mean, cipher.
We shouldn't allow any of that. We got to get ourselves right, right? Are we not number one priority? Our priority is number one, us. Before we have an ally, we got to make sure we straight. And that's it. Whether it be Republican, Democrat, Independent, however it go, or we have to push our agenda and sell it to. Before you get my vote, let's sell our agenda. That's it. Sell it.
Yeah, I mean, the Spanish funded Columbus, and all of that. We're going to enslave them based on their skin color. Forget if they were of the same religious order. None of that mattered. And we don't talk a lot about 1492, the bridging of the Spanish crown and the English crown. So that's where all that came into play. So they've been allies. So they try to hide behind, so that's why there's a difference between Hispanic and white Hispanic, because that's the bridging of the Spanish crown with the English crown. But that was all around 1492. That's when the Moors, the Black Moors, lost their power in Spain. The fall of the Moors.
Yes, ma'am.
In the 15th century. So, I mean, but we don't dig deep enough there. So we let them sit in the spaces and they claim to be allies and, homes, but they the main ones committing hate crimes against us.
Yeah.
Surpassing white tees. That's wild.
Baby, I literally just went to war with these Mexicans. Literally put my back against the wall for my life with these Mexicans in prison. I literally race riots, 300-man riots. I fought for being a Black man. Every brother shoulder to shoulder. We stood strong. We all made it home safe. We didn't lose a brother. Outnumbered, bro, they come like that and they fuck with the Aryan Brotherhood really tough. Other brothers and sisters don't understand that, bro. They link with them. They share the same point of view.
It's like that movie Blood In, Blood Out, right? Or American Me. They literally show you that Peg Leg Joe, which was a white boy, a white Hispanic sitting up here allying these mestizos with them Nazis in San Quentin and these different prisons and stuff like that.
He wasn't Hispanic at all. He was definitely white. What is they call him?
He was a white boy.
Yeah. So I think it's Sylvanian or some shit like that.
They didn't want nothing to do with the Negro struggle. They wanted to separate themselves from the beginning. They didn't want to, they wanted to be recognized different, which is okay. It's all good. But
20s from Black Americans and incorporated in the Chicano stuff.
And I'm not gonna lie, bro. Them Chicanos, they war hard. Like they war hard. I'm not gonna lie. You gotta knock them out. Like I ain't gonna lie. If you fight one, you gotta knock them out. You're gonna get up. But bro, they're not no allies of us. They try to act like us. They play our oldies. They really love our old music. That's the one thing that they really love.
Kendrick Lamar too.
Oh man, they love our music, but they
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, but
my God.
I've been on the yard. I've been on the yard with a California motherfucker. As soon as he hit the yard, all the Mexicans can't get an edge up. Because it's a Black person thing. You can't get no edge up. You gotta erase BET from your TV. They on that type of time. They just as racist as like I went to war with them. I'm trying to tell you, I went to war with them. 300-man riots in Arizona. I went to war with them. I've been to war with the Mexicans and the white boys. They're no different.
you notice since after the vote and Black American women, like, we sitting this one out, now look at it. You know, all that, like, they were the ones that voted for their own being exported out. They voted for that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that for them.
Remember, what's his name? That mail bomber Caesar Sayak. They said he was Seminole or some shit like that. A whole white dude.
Truth be told,
you had the what's his name? Jake England out there in Oklahoma, Cherokee. He had a white daddy. He was over here going on a killing spree of black people because so allegedly he accused black men of killing his white daddy or something like that. Or even what's his name? Jeffrey Weiss out there in Red Lake Reservation. He shot up his whole entire student body and his white uncle with Negroes on his mind rent free.
We gotta use the language, man.
Oh, my bad. Well, Black Americans rent free on his mind. So this is what we're dealing with. These people that have anti-Black American sentiments, and we not even in their space like that.
Sir. Yes, sir. That's how much the hatred runs deep with them. Yeah, we must not ever underestimate them, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was locked up and I sat down with the Aryan Brotherhood, and I respect their point of view. Just don't harm me doing it, but I respect it. They want to keep their race right. They want to keep it pure. That's good. It's all good. But bro, they go through training. They know how to stab somebody. Nigga, they ready. Like, they go through that. They ready, bro. They ready. We not ready like that. I'm not saying it'll pop off like that, but they be ready, bro. They organize. Ready.
They know who they are. They know that they've been sent here for that. They know this ain't their land. They know they're not native. But the thing is, if they go to Spain, if the Chicano goes to Spain, they are told them that they betrayed the crown. They are backstabbers. They don't accept them. So when they go to Spain and they feel like, oh, this is the motherland and we can go back home, the Spaniards do not accept them. The Spanish people in Spain do not accept them at all.
We're not talking about Spain. For example, we're talking about really California, for example. That's really where they run it. They don't run too much else, but they run California to the point where they ran niggas out of Compton, Watts, all that. Niggas don't own that no more. That's black. That's brown owned. The Browns own that. You understand me? Yeah, we lost that.
Like Nickerson is where Kendrick Lamar is from. They got all the housing projects now.
Yeah, they got all that. It ain't black like it used to be. Like in the 60s, that was all Compton, Watts, all that little area. You know, it changed since then, and they have that same vitriol that the white counterparts have for us. They have the same talking points. They call us mayates. It's a black beetle. They call us chongos. It's a monkey. They talk shit like a white man do. I received it. I received vitriol from them. I grew up in Arizona in 99. I was in Phoenix, Arizona in 99. The only black person. They was talking down to me because of my race, nothing else. My hair texture. They picked on me for nothing else but my race. I didn't do nothing wrong. So they not no friend of mine, as far as I'm concerned. So wake the fuck up. Ain't no black and brown. Man, we ain't got no friends. My brothers is
brown. Let's call it what it is.
That's facts.
Literally.
They the beige.
I mean, I don't need it's deficiency, whatever it is. And they too excrete the maggot louse, lice. Okay, what the fuck is up with that?
They come from Spain. They speak Spanish. They speak a European language.
They're conquistadors. They were sent.
Called critters, girl.
Little critterlings.
Right. Every time you see if you see any of their soap operas, they always highlight the light ones. They don't highlight any dark Mexicans. They favor the light ones. That's who they show in Mexico. If you make it on TV, show the weather. They show the
when they ask what race are you, they check white tea, and then they add that extra box: are you Hispanic or not Hispanic? And they check Hispanic. These are white tea Hispanics. They can easily trade out. But then a few generations, they get them a little Becky Karen. They good to go. They hide behind that.
And they play the fence on Indianness too.
Yeah, but in Los Angeles, you can't tell if they are Asian or Spain. I call them Spanish conquistadors. Okay, so they all mix in together, and you can't tell them apart after so many years.
That's because they are Asian.
Yes, they're Middle Eastern. A lot of them are really
they're
Middle
South
Eastern.
Asian.
The Ottomans,
You
the
forget.
overtaker of the Ottoman, the
You
Cappadocia.
forget the Spaniards
fucking
had a
Mexican.
whole slave trade with dealing with Asians. They
So
keep
you telling me a
emphasizing this
Mexican is
African
Asian, bro?
story, but really they was bringing in coolies from India, Philippines, China, and Japan.
They are an inbred ethnicity. That's what they are.
Yeah,
They was bringing over here, during the time of Toyotomi Hideyoshi. This is Sengoku period. They was bringing over Japanese slaves over here to Mexico and California and stuff.
But hold up.
Those
were original melanated people, though.
They was bringing in like Polynesians, Melanesians.
What year was this?
Here.
This is going on at the same time on the other side of the United States.
Bro, they didn't look, the recessive ones didn't come here until Ellis Island.
No, Angel Island. They came here on Angel Island in California. They went through.
When was Asian? I mean, when was Angel Island?
No, it's the Manila Galleon slave trade. This is the Asian slave trade.
What year, bro?
This was going on in the 1500s all the way into the 1800s.
That wasn't them.
Yes, these are Asian people that.
Bro, they're not Asians. Listen to what I'm trying to tell you.
Yes, they are.
Hold on, chill. I'm just adding with it, bro. They're not the ones that we see today. No, they're not. Those were original melanated people.
These are Mongol style, ma'am.
Bro,
they literally documented Mongol style people that they brought in here to replace the darker people.
Japanese people, bro. These people ain't that fucking old. Recessive genes ain't that old.
Which ones? Because we're not talking about the Ainu and the Homo. These are people that are.
Oh my God.
What they were talking about with the Asian slave trade is how they incorporated
Asians didn't have no
Mongol
slave trade. Stop doing that, bro. They were indentured servitude, bro. They got paid for working on that railroad, bro.
Exactly.
No, I'm not talking about the Asian. I'm not talking about the intercontinental trade. I'm talking about a slave trade that happened way before that. They were bringing in
Japan on China?
They were melanated people, bro.
No, ma'am.
What do you mean, no?
They're not. No.
You must don't see my name.
I'm talking about how they brought in Asians to bleach out the population on the West Coast.
God, they're Africans. These recessive people, the out of Africa theory and all of that shit of 1859, that means cave. Okay, so the out of Africa. Listen first. Let me land my plane so you can hear what I'm saying, brother. I'm not going against you. I'm just trying to help enlighten you, bro. Those dark complected, quote unquote Japs, which that wasn't even their real fucking name, right? They had places like Cuba, Caribbeans, all of that shit was here on the West Coast. Is what I'm trying to tell you. They were melanated people. We were doing the barter system shit. It wasn't no slave trade. You get what I'm saying? So listen, 1492, Columbian Exchange. That's what it is, not the transatlantic slave trade. That shit wasn't published until 1997 to fit their narrative. You know what I'm saying? Walter Plecker went back into our records in the 1900s to fuck everything up, them and the Pan-Africans. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm telling you is, right? The people who were kicked off this fertile soil, they have a lot of different names. They went into Mount Sinai, which is California, so I'm agreeing with you, bro. But as far as indentured servitude, right? As far as when it comes to slave trade and shit like that, bro, the slave trade was Ellis Island. It wasn't no, bro, they was melanated dark people, and I could show you pictures of them. Have you ever seen pictures of the ancient, quote unquote, Japanese people? Okay,
yes, I have seen them, but they're not bringing in the Homo Ainu people. They are bringing in the descendants that came in after that, which are the people that are, they were bringing those type of people here to wash out the darker skinned indigenous people on the West Coast. That's what I'm talking about.
We were warring with them, right?
I don't know about
So
that,
what
but
I'm
they were
saying is-
bringing Europeans themselves documenting.
European don't mean white tea, bro. The
We're
original
talking about the
Europeans were
Spaniards, the
black.
colonizers, the Europeans.
Bro, the colonizers and shit weren't white.
Oh, damn, y'all.
I'm not talking about no
Right, I got
wars or
one
anything like that because
You're not listening to what I'm telling you, bro. Listen first. The conquistadors and shit like that, the Spaniards, they were dark complected, bro. Right? When you understand conquistadors, right? These people who was kicked off this fertile soil, right? These motherfuckers were dark complected people. Okay? Now they're responsible for the inbreeding process and shit like that on what you would call the quote unquote Yakub shit.
What's up?
Okay?
What's up, Brent? What's
They
up,
went
Bucky?
against the divine order. So
What's
what I'm
up,
telling
Bucky?
you is the Europeans, original Europeans, I mean, everybody heard of Europa, dark complected. Everybody heard of Chatterman. He's dark. Okay? The original people were all melanated. We didn't see recessive people until 1850. A lot of people in the Southeast didn't even see them until the 1950s. You get what I'm saying? So the whole, okay. Let me ask everybody a question. Do y'all think white tea people whitewash history?
Yes.
I do.
They didn't.
What?
And I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, the people who whitewash history were the people who didn't want you to know that they were the hidden fucking hand. The dark complected people, the people who go by the Edo, the Yoruba.
I don't use the word dark either.
Sir, swarthy, right? Taunty, okay? Dark complected people, okay? Africa is not even, just about 200 years old, bro. The Africans are white tea people. I don't get how y'all see that. And the people who whitewash history are the people who go by
But keep it a band that
So, like, let me ask you a question. Where's the dark complected Romans at?
You don't ever show any sources, Jay. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Where's the dark
I
complected
can talk about the
Romans?
prophets that they paint. All the prophets that they paint were melanin.
Somebody let Jay come up.
Romans? Anybody
Somebody
can
let
answer?
Jay come up before he leaves.
I don't think Jay gonna come up.
Anybody?
Request up, Jay.
Hey, I'm asking a question.
You can handle them, Jay.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let
Hold on,
me
Syke.
finish the question.
Where's the dark complected Romans? You gotta follow the fucking attire.
The
right?
Holy Roman
The same
Empire, the Holy Roman Empire, European blackamoors.
They're Muslims. They're not even Moors.
There was all King James Christian. We can go to the Jacobites.
They were Roman. No, King James.
We can go to the Jacobites.
Yeah. Oh shit.
I'd rather stay
Africa
with
didn't
the English.
actually get named
I'm speaking
anything
English.
by the indigenous
2025. I'm still
population.
speaking English. So there's something to be said about the
What do you
English
mean?
blackamoors. There's something to be said about King James, and all of that entire lineage until they lost their control as well.
They had
They
changed
paint
that
them as
shit,
white,
right? So
too.
King James, right? Hold on.
They'll paint them as
hold
white.
on. King James, right? Y'all know what the Bible is for? It's Bible. Y'all know what Bible mean, right?
You can explain to the people. Good.
The way how we see the Bible today is not how the fuck we did that shit or understood that shit around the 1800s at all.
The
It was
slave
never to
Bible?
worship. Huh?
The slave Bibles?
What do you mean slave? Oh my fucking
Yeah,
God.
they gave us slave Bibles.
Listen to what I'm trying to tell you.
They quick to feed you that.
It's not. Oh my God. Y'all can't let me get it out.
It's called King James Version because of the translation. But ultimately,
No, listen, what I'm saying is this. My bad, goddess. when you understand the words that are in the Bible is not the modern day meanings today. What I'm saying is the Bible is full of SODOMY and all types of fucked up shit on how they took over the matriarch. This is our history in there. It was left to be a reminder. So when you understand what holy means SODOMY, period.
Keep it 100.
Great. So I'm
Keep
not
it 100.
talking
Ain't
about
nobody
King
saved my
James for
family.
biblical purposes. I'm talking about
Right. I got you, guys.
Ain't nobody sent me my family.
And then
yeah, I'm
and
not
then Jesus
talking about
showed up to save my people. We had to
What?
figure it out. No being.
Who showed up to do what?
We had to figure it out. We had to figure out the Underground Railroad. We figured it out. It has nothing to do with religion.
What the fuck you mean about Underground Railroad?
We had to figure it out ourselves.
Oh my fucking God. Yes. Where's the North Star?
The North Star is the
North
Big
Star.
Dipper and the Little Dipper.
It's in
No, I'm
the
saying
northern
where
hemisphere.
is the North?
Northern Hemisphere in the sky.
One of the brightest stars in the sky, if you
It's
look.
over Texas. The North Star. That's why Texas has a star.
Follow
This is right
the
above
drinking
Texas.
gourd.
Y'all know that they changed
No,
the Pueblo.
no,
Who
God
changed
was
the
there to
Pueblo?
help us.
Muhammad.
No, Jesus was there to help us.
Plague to burn
Man,
Y'all having like
Who is this?
This is Black 308. Ain't nobody coming to help us.
Bro,
We helped
Jesus
ourselves.
ain't came to save no motherfucking body. What is you talking
Man,
about?
we
Jesus is just us, bro.
a Spanish name.
Jesus.
Let's talk about it now. We're gonna talk about the word J. And the letter
We
J.
don't need to get off into the Bible.
I was about to say y'all having three different.
Y'all going into left field.
I think bringing up King, I'm talking about King James Stewart, but my thing is, there's no need to go into the Bible because it can also talk about the Book of Demonology. You could talk about the Basilica Doron. So
Yes.
I'm more
There you go,
interested in
guys.
who he was as a person. His mother, who was the
Right.
queen,
Yeah.
she was the queen.
Right.
I'd rather talk about his son, King Charles. I'd rather
Yes,
talk
ma'am.
about
Exactly.
the Jacobites and what they were doing around the time of all of the
Jacobs.
settling of the Americas. I'm more focused on
ma'am.
that. Those other books, that's allegory.
There we go, guys.
Yeah.
There we go. Exactly. Because that shit, okay, when you understand that we come from, well, I can't say we, because everybody don't fit in that category. My descendants. We come from the people who created geometry, astrology, and word finds, and where the fuck is Waldo, and the little hidden shit about, the movie The Mummy and shit, how they had shit decrypted and it's in codes. These books are to be looked at as a fucking Rubik's Cube, not as something to worship. So when you understand, wait, what? Why am I talking in what about Central Africa?
Maybe we was in Central Africa.
No, we were talking about the
fuck is
Asian
bro?
slave
Look,
trade.
hold up,
Y'all
look.
went off in the left field.
I'm talking. What do you want to say, Tyron?
I was talking about how they utilize Mongol-style Asians to bleaching up the population on the West
Where's your
Coast.
resource?
That they described Indians as your melanoid Negroes under Torquemada's description.
Melanoid Negroes.
Yeah, they described them as
What?
Negroes. They assumed that they were one of these Southeast Asians that were Negritos. So you melanoid people from Japan.
Yes.
But
So
I'm
listen
not
to what I'm
talking about
telling you.
melanoid people. I'm talking about how they
I'm not
brought in
talking about-
Mongol-style people to replace the indigenous people demographic.
They did that
That
shit
were
recently, bro.
melanated
They
here.
did that shit recently. So listen to what I'm trying to tell you, right? The Mongoloid people that you're talking about. You're talking about the Negroids, right? The Mongoloid, the Caucasoid, and the Negroid, right?
Yes.
Do you know that ain't got shit to do with us? Right?
These are terms that they use to describe us,
Right.
them, and themselves.
They didn't.
Yeah,
When
they
did we-
use the term Caucasoid to refer to Europeans. They use the term Mongoloid to refer
Hold on, I
to
get it. Hold
Native
on, Darby.
Americans and Asians.
When did hold up, bro? When did they start applying Negro to us? What year?
The 1500s.
No, the fuck.
In the United States?
The fuck?
You talking about in the United States, period? Like 14 something. 13 something. Like, if you want to talk about the United States, that's what we got. United States.
Well, I got the pre-colonial with King George I in 1648, where you know he named it all the different countries and different groups of people who were not in amity with him, and it referred to them to being, you know, Negroes. Then it made them automatically, regardless of their what he was living at, SLs to his monarchy.
I was about to say it depends. I was like, depends. 13 colonies, 1600, like 1608.
Well, then if that's the case, then I got a granddaddy that came in 1606 with King James of London and the Plymouth Company.
Right.
Understand that
what chart is this you
trace
showing?
ourselves that back. Black Americans.
Because Negro was used in the 1500s. In the United States, particularly with Spaniards.
But
sure.
yeah, it's the 1600s.
Oh yeah, so they called it Negra de Terra, right? Terra de Negra.
Yeah,
Land of the Negro.
Hey, same talking points as the white man. Same vitriol that they have.
Why
have
you ain't
vitriol
got that
for
much
us.
power? Y'all giving them way too much
Listen,
power.
listen to what I'm
Them
saying.
Coastal boys just got here last week. Them was some
Listen,
that girls.
a Mexican will play that old school shit. He'll play some Heat Waves, some old
Mexico,
Isley,
wait,
but really
North
hate us.
America, right? Wasn't even called Mexico until when?
Where
1820.
you whack document to prove you Indian. I got documents.
With that
I've
picture,
shown them
this is
already.
a great conversation, but come on, that picture's got this huge slur on
I was
it.
about to say I can show I can show
So
court
look,
records of people getting called Negro.
Where
in
does it
1600s.
say? 1832, right? Y'all know what happened in 1832?
Indian removal, but Negro was already used beforehand.
It wasn't for us.
I don't know about that because there were Indians classified as Negro in court records in the 1600s.
Yeah,
and then,
You're right.
and then you
You're
had
right, Darvin.
and in
But
the
you see,
1500s.
got
but
labeled
you know,
civilized.
hold on, Black. You right, Darvin. But guess what? Why were they classified that in the 1600s? Wasn't it because of Walter Plecker?
No, not this, that's way before
Listen,
Walter Plecker.
Walter Plecker went back into the records in the 1900s, bro. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to see.
Yeah, he went back,
Right,
but
so
they
now
already
when
were recorded in the
Christopher
1600s. Hold on, they were already recorded in the 1600s. All right, I've seen it.
Right, Negro. Okay, Negro means black, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, and
Right.
black means
So the
pale
people who
or
were
white.
labeled, hold on. The people who were labeled as black and Negro meant what? Slave. Okay.
That's not.
Yes,
that's not
not necessarily.
That's not always the case either.
No, don't
'Cause
say
I got-
not necessarily, bro. I got.
It's not.
Let me just
It's not
finish.
because I had ancestors that were born pre-Negroes.
And also
I had
enslaved
that-
is
I had
pale.
that
So
But my
baptism.
thing is this.
I
Hold on.
people of color in Louisiana.
I think we end up conflating everybody's story.
Yeah.
Like if you ain't from Kansas City, we probably don't have. If you don't have the roots in Louisiana, the Mississippi, Georgia, a lot we put in these blanketed terms thinking it applies to all of us when these were very various interactions across these different whatevers. So those records that Walter Pleckard had does not necessarily have to do anything with everybody. Like there are some people in Indiana, there were some people in Nebraska, there were some people in Iowa, there's some people. All of this was Indian till anything west of the Mississippi. True. So we're just putting all these blanketed terms and then we're discriminating. We're getting to these little nuances that it doesn't have anything to do with anything. We're using blanketed terms that probably didn't even touch a lot of our ancestors. And that's why we end up having all these little micro conversations, which it's great. Like I said, it's great for general discussion. But if somebody says this is what it is, and no, it wasn't, this is what it is. We're out here on the West Coast. So we see the Tonga and the Chumash. We see the people that are claiming to be these things. But we also know if you look back, a lot of them were straight up from Mexico. A lot of them were coming over from Alaska, coming through from Canada. We're talking about people that were migrating on foot. So I think it's really, really, and I also understand that there were melanated people because we see what the indigenous California Indians look like as well. So we're trying to use these blanketed terms, but these are very specific groups. So what we're saying is, especially out here in LA, California, when you're talking about Arizona, we're talking about New Mexico, all those areas, we absolutely see these people that are more what you would call Asian or people that you would call Spanish. But my thing is when we see them, like they a few years ago, we had the Iranians. They were protesting because of a situation that happened with one of their sisters in Iran with her hijab, and she didn't wear her hijab, and she didn't survive prison. So they were protesting. Los Angeles has the third largest population of Iranians outside of Tehran, outside of actual Iran. But you would look at them, and the whole time I'm thinking, oh, I thought y'all were Mexicans. I thought a lot of y'all. I'm sitting here thinking, and then we let them get away with saying, no, we're the indigenous, we're the Mexicans. But when it's time to rise up for their people, they wave an Iranian flag. So that was eye-opening for me to see them out. We thought the Mexicans were rioting, and we said, what's going on? Then a closer look, I was like, those are not Mexicans, those are Italians. Then we get up to talk to the officer, like, who protesting today? They said that's Iran. They got the same color flags. These are the same people coming from the Middle East.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was just at the Maryland State Archives today. Like I literally physically seen these records. Like people were declassified as different things in different time periods.
Right. See, Darvin, I was agreeing with you. So what does this say right here?
All right. 17th century American social construct for Black was of enslavement, marginalization, and lack of legal rights. Race, European colonists used the word white to describe themselves and created social constructs of savage Indians and subhuman Africans. By the end of the 7th century, most African descendant people were enslaved by the law. Enslaved people had no legal rights or autonomy and were treated as property.
Right?
So
they say hold up, Black. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. Now look. What does it say?
The term Black is not solely defined by a person's skin tone, but rather by a complex set of social meanings.
Hold on. You got to read from the beginning, bro.
So when saying Black as a social construct is not the color of their skin, it means that the term Black is not solely defined by a person's skin tone, but rather by a complex set of social meanings, experiences, and historical powers, dynamics that are assigned to individuals based on their perceived racial identity, which can be influenced by factors like ancestry, cultural background, and societal perception, not just their physical appearance, essentially the physical characteristics of skin color. But I got something on the screen that tells you that it don't even mean anything of the sort. It means that you don't have any of those. It actually means that the same thing as white. It's a non-color shade. It means to burn, gleam, shine, flash, where gleam and flash could conceivably relate to a lighter color, but given ancient Latin flagere and Greek fleeing, related words apparently also had the sense of something burnt. I'd be inclined to think that this is not the most common use. Burnt, scorched stuff is Black, but the etymology states that according to OED and me, it is often doubtful whether Black, BLAC, or Black, BLAK, Blake, means black, dark, or pale, colorless, wan, livid, but then says use of dark-skinned people in Old English. So did Black actually mean white? What do you have to say?
Hold on real quick about that, because if you look into a lot of our archive records, white tea was a color caste system where a lot of our people use the colors to denote their property, their wealth, ownership, what have you. You can look as far back as, there's so many books on it, but when we refer to it as ourselves, we were listed as white tea because we denote it. So then all this United States, these other color codes and all it changed. So Black as a social construct also means the removal of your civil rights. It means that basically you have no rights in these United States. Black literally means to lack. Even if we're talking about the color, the way we're using it is wrong. Black is the absence of light. Melanin is condensed sunlight. So people are not even using that word properly. But the thing is, it was literally a time where people, I like to say, refer to them as the Blackamoor, European English Blackamoors, Black English. They had land, they had homes, they actually had what we would call white tea people living on their land as tenants. But in 1776, with this institution of the United States, based on your skin color, you had no rights. You didn't have the rights to own anything. It literally changed overnight for them. So now the tenant is the landlord, and the landlord is now in debt. And now you're in debt, and now you're enslaved because of this debt. So all of this is even if you look at Plessy versus Ferguson, when you look at the renderings and the drawings of the news story at the time, and this is Louisiana, the man that was sitting in first class was a melanated depiction of a melanated person with kinky coily hair with a top hat on, and the people that were being moved off the train were what you would today call white tea. So who was white tea in that situation? The man that was melanated was the white tea with wealth. And it was the melanin deficient people that were being removed from the train. So if you know anything about Plessy versus Ferguson, that was the institution of Jim Crow.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, what brings you up here?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to say real quick. So can you, if you want to be a pretender, but at least just get the word right. So the word blackamoor, it doesn't
what are you
mean
saying?
the word,
Hold on,
the
the
word
accent.
blackamoor. So
Accent.
you want to keep out black. It's early in the morning.
Talk shit. Just
Yeah, so
I can't understand what he's saying.
Yeah, you see how one African.
One second. One mic on me.
That's
I
hilarious,
can handle Jay. All right, I got something for you to repeat. So I was about to say, I got something that you can. I want you to repeat.
Can I want to?
One second. I got something. I got to ask you if you can refute this, Jay. I got something for you.
I'll make my point first, though.
No, nope.
Yeah, it's got
nope.
Then why you invite me, bro? If I can't want to talk, bro, why do you invite me?
No, I'll say you can talk after I show you this. I'm trying to figure out. This is a court record, right? You see John Kickintan. He was born in 1636. He was a slave of the HOE family in Charles City County, Virginia. It says he was classified as a Negro, but you see his last name right here, Kickintan. You know where Kickintan comes from? Kickintan, Virginia. This is the original name of Hampton. Kickintan is the Indian tribe. So how a Negro? Let me know how a random Negro got a last name Kickintan in 1636.
So let me give you some free education on this. So when it comes to, am I gonna go talk? Basically in the morning.
Go ahead, you got it.
When it comes to the idea of like Afro-Indigenous people, nobody's denying Afro-Indigenous people. So when it comes to you guys saying that quote unquote black people got removed from the Indigenous Act that they got reclassified, you guys are embracing the actual Afro-Indigenous peoples. Again, there's Indian. When it comes to can I finish talking? Can I finish talking?
We're not erasing.
Can I finish talking?
1 second. Answer my question. You ain't answer my question. He didn't answer my question.
Because he's pseudo.
He trying to wiggle out my question. Hold on.
Nasty. That was nasty. That was mush mouth like a mother.
Yeah, he mush mouth. And let's go over the word Afro since he want to use that word because Africans wasn't using that word.
What's
like,
up,
what is
Mel?
Afro as a lineage? That is so violent.
How you doing?
Oh, let's go to that article right quick because this gonna body bag this clown.
I was like, because I just asked him a simple question. Because Kickintan is a tribe of a Powhatan Confederation, right? And it's the original name of Hampton. I was wondering how did a random Negro get that last name of a tribe?
Very beautiful. Thank you for bringing that up. That is amazing. I love it.
All I'm saying is Nigeria doing bad, bro. You probably best to focus on home.
And water, they kidnapping girls out of schools. They got to get that shit together.
Man, Boko Haram. We got Boko Haram. They come through and
I'm literally snatching girls, making them child brides at 9 years old.
you foul, right?
The things that they do to them little girls.
Come on now.
He probably live in the UK.
Don't got them problems.
He probably live in the UK like most of them go to the UK.
They run, bro. They gotta They gotta stand tall, make sure that continent
How many
straight.
people named Smith? Too many. You know, Smith is one of the most common American Indian last names. It's either
And then
number
school
one or
came
two.
in.
It's either Johnson or Smith. It's either Johnson or Smith.
They
Number
be
one or
changing their
two.
names since they hit the land. They changing that shit.
You look up the top, the most used American Indian names. It's going to say Johnson and Smith, 1 and 2. I think Johnson's number 1 and Smith's number 2, or vice versa.
But we been here, man. We ain't getting nothing, man. My people, I got people, man. They fought World War II, 1812 in Louisiana. We fought, man. We showed our ass for these colors. And we showed our ass for this country. We showed up. We fought. We got nothing in return, man. And it's foul to give immigrants.
We out of it. We free. We free. We do whatever we want to do. We fought in 1812, battle in New Orleans. We do whatever we when Andrew Jackson commissioned that Black Cavalry and they had, okay, we won the war. We fought off Great Britain. Now what? He said, I have nothing to offer y'all. He didn't have anything. So we can continue living our lives in peace. We still here. We still in Louisiana, very much so.
We still here. Yes, man. We still love it. All over North America. We still here.
Because I want y'all to read this article right quick. Because this body bag, this nigga right here. It's from Michael Hampton, Afro Hairstyle, Ironic Backlash by Stanley Meisler. Let me pull up my screen right quick.
I got you.
Y'all see this?
Yeah, I'm seeing the up.
So, Darvin, could you read it?
Yeah. All right. I guess I got y'all can't see this. Let me stop. But Afro Hairstyle, a U.S. original African, says Dar es Salaam, Tanzania's some militant African nationals are denouncing a new import of them from a. The denunciation is ironic for Black Americans had made the Afro or natural style of their hold on, you're moving it too much. A natural style, their fashion, because they want to proclaim their roots in Africa. Instead, mimicking YT fashion by straightening their hair. They let it grow out, bushy and natural, the way they believe it is done in Africa. Yeah. Why don't you got an answer for me, Jay? I asked you a question. How did a random Negro get the last name of a tribe in the 1636?
Jay, get your butt back up here on the stage.
Modern girls accept.
It literally means to friction, fraction, divide, and conquer, as we have seen. Okay, so the Europeans did whatever they wanted to Africa, and let's be honest, Africans invite them in. They show them where the landmines are. They show them how to hunt the endangered species. You allowed it.
Now, Darvin, keep reading.
All right, so elaborate bandana or let it grow long and plait it into stiff strands that arch outward in the past. The girls who wanted to believe that to be chic in modern might straighten hair into the latest Paris or London fashions. Modern girls accept. Recently, however, some of the modern girls in towns have taken the Afro hairdo. A few stewardesses of East African Airways are spotted in Nairobi. Mrs. Miria Obote, the wife of President Milton Obote of Uganda, has been seen in the Afro coiffure. Afro wigs are advertised in some of the magazines and that educated African girls read. The new foundness for an Afro hairstyle among the smart set has come about because it is African, but precisely because it is not. The girls like Afro because it comes from Black America, the home of excited and popular soul music.
So, Afro-Indigenous, what the fuck is you talking about, Jay? The Afro is not known in Africa. The motherfuckers are bald-headed or plaited. And whatever the fuck they wearing, that shredder head shit. What the fuck is you talking about, Jay? Afro-indigenous
Black-
my ass.
Black Americans were probably the first ones that really rocked the afro and make it.
Exactly. It means the natural.
With the pig with the afro, with the fish.
What did you pull up? What you got on the screen?
For a refugee to be speaking to, but you're still a refugee.
So I gonna let me present this. So
You're a whole refugee.
Are you gonna keep us like a little kids? Because some of you guys have no
You pulling
emotion.
up the dogs,
So
bro.
again, you gonna let me present this. So why you scared?
God, he's so jealous. He's so jealous.
Kind of seems scared, bro. One African person.
He's so jealous.
What might
You see how you're so scared. You see how so scared. They're not gonna let me present the story, bro. You're so scared. So again, you're gonna let me present the stories, bro. You're gonna let me present. Are you scared? Are you scared? Kind of you're scared, bro. You're scared, bro. You're scared. You don't let me talk. You're scared as hell, bro. You're scared, bro.
Like, dude, who's scared? Who's scared? Go ahead and talk. Go ahead.
You're not letting me present the story. You're scared. Let me present the story. Yes, again. Now let me finish talking. So when it comes to him, when he presented that quote unquote proof that just because somebody has a surname, that means that they're quote unquote fully indigenous. No, they were Afro-indigenous people that were classified as Negro, but they were still in the Dawes Road census. So when it comes to there's different sets. Hold on, I'm still talking.
What year is that?
I have some.
Because he was talking about 1600.
Now you're being biased. Now you're being biased. Again, you guys can't comprehend. Again, you see how
Alabama, Georgia.
Yo, one mic.
You guys are scared. You're scared to debate me. So again, as I was saying, so when it comes to even the Shakhtar people by blood, a lot of them still don't have fully indigenous names. Similar to when it comes to, similar to when
That's
it comes
1800,
to,
and the brother was talking about 1600s. 200 year
doesn't
difference.
matter. Let me finish.
200 year difference.
So again, now you're switching up. When it comes to the Shakhtar, when it comes, I'm still talking. Illiterate bathroom, I'm still talking, bro. So as you can see, when it comes to when the Shakhtar, I'm still talking. No emotional intelligence. You're scared as again.
One second.
Still a debater, but you can't give me 1 minute to talk again.
You pulled up a logical fallacy, right?
Scared as hell, bro. You're scared, bro. You can't debate me. You're goofy. You're goofy.
It's a fallacy.
You can't debate me, bro. You can't debate me
It's
for
a fallacy.
You're goofy. You can't debate me.
Hey, Jay, it's a fallacy. You want to know
You're
why it's a
scared
fallacy?
big time, bro. You're scared big time.
You want to know why it's a fallacy? First of all, you want to know why it's a fallacy? One,
bro, you can't
Oklahoma.
debate me.
One, I'm talking about Virginia. You're talking about
debate me, bro.
One second.
Oklahoma, bro.
Yeah, it's Oklahoma. For one, that's Oklahoma. So for two, for one, can you shut up?
No, now
you shut up, though, dude.
Shut your fucking African lips, nigga. Please.
Hold on, 1 second. Just let me finish, dude. And I'll let you ramble on, right? Like, now with that being said, you already cut yourself, right? Because for one, that's Oklahoma. I'm talking about Virginia. Two, that's in 1800. I pulled up a court record from 1636.
Bro, now you're switching up, bro.
I told you to debunk what I
give me a minute to talk again.
Hold on. I told you to debunk what I just showed you. Hold on. No. I'm gonna ask you the question again.
Bro, you lost the point.
I was about to say, hold on.
Point to the host.
I'm gonna ask you.
This is your so-called pretender. He's scared as hell, bro. This guy.
No, hold on. 1 second.
Yeah, you can't let me present, bro. You scared as hell, bro. I got you Negro shook up, bro.
Man, you ain't got nobody shook because you ain't got nobody shook. For one, I'll bring you back up when I'm done, right? Because I never finished. You lost because you didn't pull up a source from 1600. How did I ask you a question that you could not answer? How does a random Negro get the last name Kicketan in the 1636? That's what I asked you. You failed to answer that. You suck. You suck. You want to know why? Because you can't debunk it. You pulled up the Dawes
from
Road.
the 1600s. He went to the Dawes Road, Oklahoma. It wasn't in Oklahoma when it was initially instituted. It's a 200-year difference. He doesn't have any comparable information. He's a jealous African. They never liked us. They never fucked with us. He's a refugee migrant. He hates living in Africa, but he represents Africa.
Show us source in 1600 that debunks that. Show us source in 1600. I'm waiting.
Hey,
Semantics.
you're a refugee. We are home. You're not home. You are ashamed of your ancestral homeland where your ancestors are buried. It's simple as that.
It's
I already
beautiful
knew
in America, man. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
It's
you.
good. It's
I already
straight.
knew I already knew he couldn't debunk that shit. Because how you gonna debunk it? You don't have a court record. You don't even know where I got this shit from.
But we all through black and white, bro. We can trace our shit back to the 1700s to keep it a band-aid. I got death
It's good for people to
certificates,
see this. Like,
marriage
look how
license.
oppressed the Africans are. Look how oppressed he was.
Yeah.
That is so violent. This is a whole refugee speaking to people with over 1,000 years of lineage on this land. He's a colonizer just with melanin. He's a melanated colonizer.
Is he
They
still
share the
in here?
same
About to-
views.
I was gonna say about to flex on his stupid ass. 1 second. Because you can't go back this far in your tree, Jay. You never could. You never will. I'm
Go
about
back
to
to
flex on his stupid ass.
ancestry.
I'm about to flex on his stupid ass real quick.
That's a primary source on that.
We in black and white.
Black and white, yeah,
White
about to
folks
flex.
documented some shit.
Jay, bring your goofy ass up here.
About to flex on his stupid ass.
He gotta
Put Scott away. Put Scott away. Ties right here. As you can see, right, Kinawa, Piscataway, Proctors, Piscataway. You actually hear about my family in history. They teach about my family in history books. Stupid ass. Well, we got Politan right
Kids
here.
hate Africans.
He said that we erasing indigenous.
1576. You couldn't even imagine naming the ancestor in 1576, Jay. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Shall I flex on them some more?
Yes.
Yeah,
what was Congo even called in the
about to
1500s?
flex.
What did they call the Congo in the 1500s?
Congo, Mabundi,
that was a whole different name.
all types of shit like
yeah,
that.
because they was trading with the white folks. They was trading with the Europeans. They was
the
in
Portuguese.
cahoots with them. Yeah, nigga, they sold us. Nigga,
What, 1619? What that say? Mohawk. Fuck is we talking? Mohawk 1619. That's when supposedly Africans came over here. 1619. We about to continue flexing on his continue flexing on his stupid ass. Just because I feel like it. Just because I feel like
a
it.
Maryland accent on it. Stupid.
Stupid ass. Stupid ass, boy.
That was a Baltimore accent.
Yeah, his stupid ass. Since you want to talk about Pocahontas, there she go. This is my ancestor. By her daughter. Y'all niggas ain't even know she had a daughter before John Rolfe came over here.
And that fool trying to pull up a cartoon drawing.
They like the Disney story. They go off of the Disney story.
Y'all niggas watching Disney. We got the records of her.
Right. You understand me? They got game from Disney. Yeah, they didn't get game from real people.
And the thing is, the Disney story is the pornographic version of the story. The revised John Smith version.
Hold on one second. This is the ultimate flex. You can't even imagine they was 1375? You couldn't even imagine. Name was an ancestor in 1375, Jay. Get your stupid ass on.
No comparable information. They don't have any documentation before 1980s.
Right.
Big stupid ass.
To be told, I'm gonna be honest.
He tried to flex on you with a cartoon of Rebecca Rose.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna keep it a band-aid.
He tried.
We really wasting time with them people. We really wasting time. We got to get on code as a people and move accordingly. Real talk, nigga. We ain't nobody, bro. They copy us. We trying to get somewhere. Them people owe us, bro. We American. They owe us, nigga. I need mine.
You said not too much on John Rolfe. Fuck John Rolfe and Thomas. I'm related to them too, but fuck them. Fuck John Ross. Rolfe.
Bro, they literally get done.
Jay literally tried to say we're erasing history, but he's literally doing it.
What's wrong? What's
majority in a nation? They're the majority in a nation. How you get done wrong like that? You gotta pick
He wants us to claim a land that he abandoned.
All right. Run away from him. Come on, man.
If my house looks like a clinic, that means I'm healthy.
Exactly.
My house
make
looks like
Africa
a clinic,
good
that means
for us
I'm
to come
healthy,
there,
nigga.
Like make Africa good for Black Americans to come there and welcome us, motherfucker. If you really about that life,
I'm not gonna leave.
I ain't gonna lie.
Shit with the year of
I ain't gonna
return.
lie. I like running water. I like
Yeah,
hot
we like
and cold
so I
showers.
got a question.
Can I ask you guys a question?
What's up?
What's up, panel? So I mean, y'all got all this information. I've never seen a lot of this information, like the lineage stuff, the detail. I never seen none of this stuff, bro. I'm just want to know why don't y'all take this to like the news and just put this joint out on like the main stage, the
Dude,
world
you
stage,
can read it.
Bro,
like
We did. It's
CNN or
already in the
something,
New
bro.
York
Because
Times.
no, man, y'all
We
got some
out
real
on
good information.
CNBC.
Chill.
We got the
Y'all
Cherokee
got good
Phoenix.
information. Y'all got
Well, this shit went
lineages
to the
and
Supreme Court in
timelines. Why?
2020. Where were you in 2021?
At the
Where were
end
you
of
in
the
Y'all did this
2021?
y'all took it to
When
the
it was
news
in
in
the New York
2021?
Times.
At the end of the day, we 13% of the population here.
You just
We
disconnected.
13%, bro.
You just disconnected.
Wait, so y'all did a News Time article in
And
New
we
York
pushing
Times?
line.
We
I
already
can find this.
and it was one of Trump's judges that affirmed that the Cherokee and the Muskogee never disbanded. Like, where were you, bro?
I'm talking about the timeline stuff.
Eyelashes.
The time is
My Chickasaw
I'm not
brothers,
talking.
my Choctaw brothers was out there on the
up
front
there.
lines. Where were you? Where were
Misguided,
you? Where
misguided,
were
angry
you?
lady.
Where were
Misguided,
you?
angry.
Because you
Please,
don't read.
I'm not talking to you. I'm
You
talking to
don't
my man up there.
read.
He has the timelines. You don't have the
Yeah.
timelines.
Yeah.
I
No,
want
you
to know
don't
why
read.
he has to work
You
the
don't read.
timelines up to the news.
You
Mellow,
don't
chill
read.
out.
You're illiterate.
I'm just trying to figure it out because I think
Nah,
it's
it's
cool.
good. You
I
good.
want to know.
Chill out. You
I was
good.
about to say, why don't go to the
Attacking me
news?
for what? I'm trying to figure it out. He got the information.
You're not gonna figure it out. Chill out. You missed the whole point. The lineage is personal. Do your genealogy. Figure out who your people are. That's what everybody's doing
He
now.
has the information. I'm trying
You
to
have
get
to
it. Why
find
is
your
it not
information.
public?
That's the point.
Why is
Why
it
is it
not?
not
Why
public?
can't I
It
just
is.
go
Yes, sir.
download
One
everything
second.
he has?
They're showing you everybody.
For
They're
one,
showing
you can start with African Americans
Respect
ain't
the host.
African on Facebook.
One second,
You
bro.
go.
I got it.
Y'all
You say
just
why?
spent
You say why is it
15
not?
minutes
You
up
say
here
why?
saying Jay don't have no information.
He
Like
don't.
y'all
Respect
have
the
it.
host.
I'm
Chill
trying
out.
to get it. Y'all tripping. Like why y'all
I got.
bugging on
Hold
me
on.
like
What's
that?
up?
I
You
don't
can
get
people
it.
follow.
that work for you.
1 second. You got first of all, you got to talk to your family about first to even start a family tree, right? Second of all,
Yeah, for sure. No,
yeah, for
But
sure.
yours go back to
It's public.
Pocahontas. Like yours is legendary, bro. I want to learn about that. Like I don't mind. Where's mine? Is yours is legend? Legendary.
But you
Literally.
legendary in your own country, bro. Make
You
your
can be
country
legendary.
great,
You
bro.
can be like your
Go
lineage
with that
legendary.
Where can
energy.
I go find
We
it?
go
Like,
way
y'all,
further than
like
that.
y'all
Just chill out.
ignoring
You
y'all
probably related
ignoring
to some.
everything I'm
You
trying to
probably.
say to y'all.
I was about to say you probably. I was probably you probably related to some famous people. Like your shit can be legendary too. I don't know.
Listen,
You gotta do the work.
my brother.
I come from Frederick Douglass's brother. I already know that. I
The
seen our
Bailey
family tree. We got
There
war
you
stuff
go.
going
There
on.
you go.
We got a
Where
whole
you at
bunch
right
of that
now?
cool
Where you
stuff
live
going
at right
on.
now?
But
So
I'm only from his
apparently,
brother, not from
Frederick
him.
Douglass is American Indian.
I mean, that's his
His
brother.
mother's
That's,
side.
that's your
I'm not
uncle.
from Frederick Douglass. I'm from his brother. But what I'm saying
If,
is,
Okay, but where
if
you
it's his
from?
brother, then what's his mom? They got the same mother, do they not?
I understand what you're saying, good brother. I understand. I understand what you're saying, but I'm trying to get to the cool stuff. Like my family Jones already mapped out. I know what's going on my side. What I'm trying to figure out is the Pocahontas. Like I've never heard these stories. I'm just trying to like, why are we not making movies about this? Y'all think I'm sitting up here joking,
I mean, I got a
and y'all
homie
just
that
like
can
Take you to
document it.
trying to
slave
attack me.
movies. You want slave movies and fetishes.
We need redress. We need compensation before we get to that point. We need compensation.
All right,
Where the
so
fuck
y'all
is
just
that
don't
at?
got it together. You're not ready to present it to the world just yet. That's
The
what
world don't
that's what
care.
I'm
It's a
asking.
lot of people related
It's
to it.
already out,
It's
bro.
not for entertainment purposes.
Right.
You want
It's
some popcorn Hollywood blockbusters
This is
on
literally
Netflix
research.
and
Like
Black Mirror.
y'all want people to be inspired by this,
Hold on,
so
brother.
people
We
can
I'm
know
want
the
people to
making.
truth.
I'm
realize they're not
making.
But
You
you're
need
half
to be
assing it, in
inspired,
my
my nigga.
opinion.
You
That's
in
all.
Africa. Be inspired, bro. Inspire yourself. You have
Be
to
inspired to
have
go
the
find out if
majority.
you have African
Look,
ancestors. If you can
I
find
can't.
African lineage, you would be
I just
special.
want y'all to
On
be
my
able to
soul,
explain
bro.
your
You
truth
have
to
the
the world
people.
and not
You doing it
come
right
off
now.
so I don't know white tea supremacy,
Nigga, we the
especially the
minority in
lady.
America.
She sound like she hate any type of melanated person that come around her. I
Fall
don't
back,
care who it
Mello.
is. That's what she sound like.
Fall
That's just what
back.
she
No,
sound
she
like.
doesn't. Fall back, bro.
Like, let it go.
Because you can easily look this information up.
Hey, goes, I'll drop down, man.
Yeah, it's
Get
downhill
that
from
knowledge
there.
out to the
Mellow
people
focus.
and
You
let
might
the
come from a
people
bunch
know
of
the
lanes
truth, bro.
because
Don't hide
we
it
know
from
It's
Frederick
nobody.
downhill
Douglass
from
cheated
there.
on
Let
his
the
wife
people
with a
know the
white T
truth.
woman.
Falling off.
Mellow focus.
You know
Feel
what?
me?
You
I'll let
got
y'all
the spirit
later.
of
Y'all
Frederick
be safe out
Douglass.
here
You
in
got
these
that
streets,
spirit of
Yeah, we
man.
out
Y'all
Frederick
out here
here.
in these
Douglass.
streets. Watch out
Mellow.
for this.
Hey,
let the
That's how
man
it
Douglas
is.
let that black
Good.
woman, let his black wife do all that work, and he left
Y'all
her
be
for a white
safe, man.
girl. That's
Yeah,
what,
stay
that's
dangerous.
that's your bloodline. That's the
Stay
kind of shit you
dangerous.
on.
Stay dangerous.
I want some cool history too. That's what he told his bro.
Yep. You don't want to make your country better. You don't make shit right within your country, but you want to come to America and dictate
On
shit.
Netflix.
Right.
That's
And tell us how
ego.
we
That
need
ain't
to
nothing
do
but
it.
ego.
Right.
That is not American Indian.
Yeah, make sure you straight, bro. Where you come from? Where you come from? Make sure it's straight
Need to
over
go
there.
detox. Drink some cucumber juice.
It's not that over here,
Get
man.
some sea moss and up in that bitch, bro.
Yeah,
Some
what's
bush
up?
meat or something.
What's going on? What's going on, huh? What's going
What's
on,
up,
man?
Pontus? What's going on?
Man, no, man. I just want to say, I feel like it's so funny to me how people that like so all this knowledge that may or may not be new to people, instead of going to go research it or understand that it may just be something that they didn't learn, they instantly try to go against it. Like it's just like what you just got finished saying. That right there is the ego. That's the human ego, not trying to accept anything that goes against your narrative.
Brother,
Like this
it's
shit
not our
lame as
allies.
hell, fam.
We have to move accordingly.
Unconscious, because the first thing he said is, "Why y'all not?" He came up here while we not do, because we ain't created a Netflix special or BET Tyler Perry series about it.
Yep.
He didn't come up here and say, "Hey, I would like to learn more." So it's like there's ways that we can dig in and get a lot of answers for you, but you gonna still have to finish the journey. But that's not what he came up here on. He came up here and saying, "Why y'all not making this widely available?" As if we are not writing articles, like we're not on TikTok right now. This is part of the sharing of information.
Right.
Nah, he didn't like y'all was roasting gummy.
All he had to do was go to the Facebook page of African Americans Ain't African, or looked up Dane, or anybody that's been putting out this Aboriginal information.
He already knew.
They just been listening on the Tariq Nasheed's coattails, robbing information from the real people that's putting out the info.
Right.
The
What's
paper
up, Big Jim?
back up the information.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up? Yeah, let's see you on the stage. I'm about to start wrapping this up soon. Just want to get in. Go ahead.
Like,
Listen, I even got my
he
mother
said-
on code. My mother
He
on code.
said
She
he
understands
said
black
something
Americans.
about going presenting it to the world. This is a battle of minds.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? It's numbers, right? You gotta get just like what they did, because we automatically think it's a game of black and YT.
Mm-hmm.
We think that's it. That's not all. Like them people that was coming over here, them Spaniards and the Englishmen, they were brown skinned people, right? So they were invading first. YTs didn't come till later, just like y'all saying. With the boats, you can find pictures of them on boats and stuff coming over here because they
What's
sent
my
them over
pug
here.
that's snoring?
Oh, okay. We was trying to figure that out. But go ahead and finish.
Yeah, my dog be snoring too.
Hey, them white
loud,
folks,
too.
them white folks gained the knowledge from the Moors after Spain, bro.
Well, it was a
They didn't look back ever
collective.
since. They didn't look
It
back
was
ever
a
since.
collective thing that happened, right? To go against us, right? Because we are great people. We are. We're most talented. You know, we are. Also, we are hard-headed people too. We're driven by ego, right? We got to be the biggest, the baddest, the show it. That's part of us, right? And I always have, but this time now, this is when all this knowledge is going to all add up. Because I remember it wasn't, you can't find nobody on the internet talking about none of this, right? And it just started like wildfire. Every other page I go to, it's a beautiful thing too.
Beautiful.
You know, for me, I mean, I got a strong past like story, and I'm sure all of us do. We got our things we went through, you know, having this experience, right? But it's beautiful when we can all find out, you know, we finally finding out, you know, what they took from us. You know what I mean? It's like if they give you, I heard somebody say, they beat you in the war, right? Why would they give you the game? They gonna lie to you, right? Not only to you, but the YT man too that's here with us. They lying to him too, but they lying to him to make them move the way they want them to move. You understand? Like that racism stuff, never been about that. That didn't come till later. That was something that they used, the royals, or what you want to call elitists, or whoever you. It's a hidden hand that we don't know who they are, but we on their ass. We on their ass. This collective knowledge with us and throwing our energy instead of in the others. I don't care what them NA say. I don't care what a white T say. White T's don't really be talking. They don't say much on here. But, you know, about this subject, they don't, you know, they don't really chime in. But the NAs, and then you got the, I don't know if I can say, you can say African. I don't know if you can say it or not, but Africans, you got some of your own who grew up in that.
Sure.
You know, they grew up in when they were doing the brainwashing, you know?
Sure.
They were doing the changing your name, you know, sure. Black Power, giving you songs with it. You know what I mean? James Brown knew he was an Indian, right? And he made that song. He black and he brown. He probably didn't want to make that joint.
Well, keep it a band that you can prove that you're a part of an Indian nation, but it's really up to that nation to accept you. It's up to the Indians to accept you. Yeah, you can, your language can be on point.
Closing and all that,
real
I'm
quick,
proud
Big
of all
Jim.
y'all
Thank
what
you.
y'all doing. You know what I mean? Doing what you're doing, researching. I'm sitting here now, flicking through it, listening to Dane Calloway, on TikTok, scrolling while I'm still looking up my family tree.
Yeah, we deep in this country.
You understand? And I've been doing it for a while. Calling people, they like, who this boy calling all the way up here? Want to know who this person is at. They never knew we was relatives, you know, because we got moved and stuff like that, displaced. And you can see it when you do your family tree, you know? You come from, well, I know my family comes from down south, but I'm in Jersey, right? But all my family come from down south. I don't even know them. You know what I mean? I just know my immediate right here. So this right here is beautiful. What everybody doing. I'm gonna leave it right there.
All right. So you wanted to wrap things up a lot because I'm about to shut this thing down.
I wanted to agree with Jim. Just imagine if during the civil rights movement, instead of all this Black power, we were actually claiming our indigenous rights, and we were all uniformed and saying all that. And I wanted to say a lot of this came because they came looking for us, particularly my family. This is how, you know, they were reaching out to my elders, Cherokee Nation, Muskogee Nation, because there's a lot of things that they're trying to get done. And we could talk about that on another live, but they came looking for us right around the same time. Then COVID happened, Clubhouse, people were talking. And so now it just caught on like wildfire. But just know, like, this is all happening at the same time. When the brother was asking, why weren't we talking about this like in mass media at the same time? Our people were fighting all the way to the Supreme Court and we won. And this is one of Trump's judges who said that the Indians never disbanded. What is all this information? He said more than 50% of Oklahoma is still Indian territory. So it's great that everybody's getting on board because I'm really big on it. I don't care about the ego and trying to explain to immigrants and migrants who we are. We got heavier loads to live. And my brothers are definitely on the front lines. They end up in Indian jail, but that's okay. They let them out. And we get out and we keep fighting. So we got heavier loads to lift. And I just really wanted to express that. Thank you.
All right. I'm about to shut this thing down, y'all. It's nice having y'all. I'll be back on tomorrow. Yeah, till next.
I got 5 cards and I haven't seen any love in any of them. He regrets what he did. He regrets what he did. He regrets he betrayed you. He regrets he got greedy. He regrets he concealed this from you. He hid it from you. He did you wrong, blindsided you. But it's all about regret, and I'm not seeing love. I'm just seeing remorse